Rupert Sanders holds Kristen Stewart around the waist, an intimate moment that went unnoticed at the time.
Foo Fighters lead Dave Grohl is confessing to his secret family. With a brand new daughter he's welcoming to his original family.
My parents were in this business when my father cheated on my mother. She had to deal with tabloids. I know how much it hurt her.
Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel aren't exactly living in marital bliss, and I've got some tea on that. Let's get straight into it. Justin Timberlake, ex-boy band heartthrob, solo pop legend, actor, king of sexy back, and Jessica Biel, A-list Hollywood actress, mom, producer, have been married since 2012. But peel back the red carpet gloss and what looks like a fairy tale in tabloids might actually be a struggle. Now, this isn't your typical they had a fight at brunch celebrity drama. No, insiders have told outlets that Jessica Biel has been frustrated with Justin's alleged lack of effort to actually, help with their marriage, especially at a time when his schedule should have given him space to focus on family. And yeah, it doesn't stop there. Sources have even described the couple's marriage as having little to no intimacy, a dry, passionless dynamic that would be tough for any relationship, let alone, one always in the public eye. To understand why this is such a topic, we have to rewind a little bit. Justin Timberlake doesn't exactly have a spotless reputation when it comes to relationships. Even before Jessica, his history was, punctuated with rumors and controversies from the infamous Crimea River era, and all the speculation about Britney Spears, to flirtation scandals and very public celebrity moments that kept his name in gossip columns. Now, that particular pattern didn't magically disappear once he married Biel. I mean, in 2019, Justin was photographed hand in hand with his Palmer co-star in New Orleans, cozy enough for a public apology. He ended up deleting the post, claiming it was a lapse in judgment and blaming, alcohol while insisting nothing happened physically. Okay. That's the kind of message the public remembers, and one that sparks serious public gossip about, fidelity. But fast forward to the marriage years and things started getting, let's just say, weirder. Despite the couple's long history of reaffirming their love publicly, including, birthday posts, anniversary shoutouts, sources more recently paint a picture of strain. People close to Biel reportedly feel that Timberlake is not doing enough to actively contribute to fixing problems, even though his work plate isn't overloaded. So that's a telling detail, a husband who appears too busy for growth in his marriage, even when he has time. Then there's the matter of distance, emotional and otherwise. One report described Biel and Timberlake as being like day and night, as if they just don't relate to each other the way they once did. And, if that weren't enough, some outlets even floated the possibility that this marriage, already public and complicated, could be in a precarious place, with gossip fueling speculation around a potential split down the road. Meanwhile, Timberlake, been handling his own personal curveballs too. Widely covered DWI arrest in 2024 embarrassed the whole family. It was in public, it added stress, and reportedly didn't win him any brownie points at home. So let's be clear, this isn't just tabloid, fever or whatever. Multiple outlets have reported on marital strain and lack of intimacy between Jessica and Justin, even after years together. Jessica's frustration at Justin's perceived lack of effort to improve things, energy and connection issues they've publicly, been described as facing, and ongoing speculation that this isn't a settled, happy Hollywood marriage story, the way PR might want you to think it is. But here's the twist. Every time rumors wind up circling, the drain, Justin and Jessica both come out with statements or public posts about how committed they are, how much they love each other, and how they're working through it. That's the Hollywood duality, struggle behind the scenes, positivity on the surface. So what's really going on? Is Jessica Biel quietly reevaluating her marriage to a man who makes headlines for scandal more than romance? Is Justin Timberlake quietly trying to fix things but losing traction with time and missteps? Honestly, probably a bit of both, just like many relationships not happening under the spotlight of millions every day. At the end of the day, a marriage can never just be about the glamorous photos. And in this case, the report suggests the gloss might be hiding a lot more conflict, frustration, and emotional distance than fans ever expected. Is Khloe Kardashian even a Kardashian? Kris Jenner's secret affair has finally been exposed. All right, buckle up, because the Kardashians Kardashian family tree might have more plot twists than an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians on Fast Forward. To start, let's rewind to actually the 80s. Kris Jenner was married to high-profile attorney Robert Kardashian Sr., the man who later became infamous for defending O.J. Simpson. Now picture it, if you will, Beverly Hills, big hair, shoulder pads, and Kris Jenner living her best life as a socialite. But according to her own memoir, she wasn't exactly living the faithful life. Kris admitted to having an affair while married to Robert. She even said it was one of the biggest mistakes of her life. But she never said with who. That one little mystery cracked open Pandora's box of Kardashian conspiracies. Fans started comparing Khloe's looks to her siblings, pointing out that she didn't even share the same features as Kim, Kourtney, or Rob. While they leaned into those classic Armenian traits, Khloe was taller, lighter, and let's be honest, looked like she belonged to a different genetic family entirely. So cue the internet theories. The first name to get dragged into the rumor mill, well, of course, O.J. Simpson, because again, of course, Robert Kardashian was one of O.J.'s closest friends and part of his legal dream team during the infamous, Schmurder trial. Now, naturally, the tabloids connected the dots that maybe didn't exist and claimed Kris had an affair with O.J. and that Khloe was his secret love child. Kris called those rumors tasteless and disgusting, and O.J. publicly denied it, of course, saying he never had anything romantic with her and that the idea was just ridiculous. But that didn't stop anyone from talking. Then came Alex Roldan theory. Now, Kris Jenner's longtime hairdresser. Alex worked with her for years, was around during her marriage to Robert, and according to some fans, looks suspiciously similar to Khloe. We're talking same jawline, same eyes, same nose. I mean, the old one that she had. And the resemblance is uncanny, though, and it's enough that Reddit detectives had a field day. I mean, some people even joke that the R in Khloe's middle name could stand for, Roldan. I mean, savage, I know. Let's not forget, Kris has never publicly shut down that specific rumor. Sure, she's denied OJ, but when it comes to Alex, radio silence. I mean, almost like she's letting the mystery marinate. And honestly, Kris Jenner is the type of mastermind who could turn a family scandal into a ratings boost. Would it really surprise anyone if she left that rumor alive just to keep the Kardashians trending for another 20 years? I mean, this woman turned a leaked S-tape into a billion-dollar empire. Even Khloe herself has played into the confusion. I mean, on an early episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kris tried to convince her to take a DNA test to put the rumors to rest. Khloe refused, saying she didn't need to prove who her father was, which fair, but also girl, the internet doesn't rest. Just take the test. Every time someone digs up an old photo of Alex, the conspiracy theories come crawling back. And the craziest part, there's never been a definitive answer. No DNA test, no official statement, nothing but whispers, side eyes, and a whole lot of Kardashian chaos. And the longer it goes unresolved, the juicier it gets. I mean, at this point, the who's Khloe's real dad saga is basically pop culture folklore. Whether it's OJ, Alex, or Robert himself, one thing's for sure, Kris Jenner knows exactly how to keep us watching. I mean, she's the puppet master of modern celebrity, pulling the strings while everyone else argues over paternity tests and hairdresser headshots. So is Khloe Kardashian a true Kardashian? Technically, maybe, I don't know. Spiritually, absolutely, because if there's one thing that defines a Kardashian, it's the ability to turn drama into gold, and Khloe does that better than anyone. I mean, if Kris ever decides to spill the full truth about that affair, she'll probably save it for the season finale of The Kardashians, streaming exclusively on Hulu with a tequila in one hand and a smirk that says you'll never really know. Khloe Kardashian apparently slapped her no-good cheating ex in the face, and I've got the details on it. A situation is bad when a man hires a Grammy-nominated R&B singer to fix it and still gets slapped, because yes, this actually happened. Khloe Kardashian slapped her cheating ex Tristan Thompson right in the face, and the story behind it is somehow even more uncomfortable than the headline. So picture this: Tristan, a man with more cheating scandals than playoff losses, decides he's going to win Khloe back with a grand romantic gesture. Not therapy, not accountability, not consistency. No, he brings in Giveon to serenade her like they're in a music video. Except Khloe did not sign up for Love and Basketball the musical. This wasn't Valentine's Day, it wasn't a proposal, it wasn't even a hey can we talk moment. Khloe was already irritated with him. And suddenly this man is trying to slide next to her while Giveon is singing his soul out in the background. The audacity was astronomical. And Khloe, well, she snapped. She straight up slapped Tristan Thompson in the face, apparently. Not a dramatic, wind up slap. More like a, don't you dare touch me reflex that, has been loading for years. Years of public embarrassment, years of cheating scandals, years of her looking like the most patient woman alive while he repeatedly fumbled the easiest bag in history. And that's no shade to her. Meanwhile, Giveon just, keeps singing. Imagine being paid to perform and watching a Kardashian relationship implode in real time. But you still, have to hit your notes. So yeah, honestly, professionalism at its best. Khloe immediately grabbed her daughter, True, created a physical barrier between herself and Tristan, and removed herself from the situation, because nothing kills a vibe faster than your ex thinking a live soundtrack will erase his past behavior, right? I mean, this moment wasn't funny because it was violent, but it was funny because it was real. This wasn't staged. This wasn't PR. This was a woman who had reached her limit after being disrespected on a global scale. Let's not forget who we're talking about here. Khloe Kardashian has been dragged through cheating headlines more times than like anyone deserves or been through. Tristan didn't just mess up once, he made a lifestyle choice out of disappointing her. So when he thought a serenade would magically undo years of chaos, that slap was basically like muscle memory. And honestly, the most savage part isn't even the slap, it's that Khloe told the story herself, very calmly, casually, like, yeah, that happened, because she's so past pretending things were ever normal. Tristan probably thought he was doing something romantic. He probably thought he was doing his big one. Khloe saw it for what it was, a performative gesture instead of real change, which is typical. No apology song, no, candlelight vocals, no celebrity crooner can fix a man who refuses to evolve, period. So yeah, he's giving narc energy, and the internet just got another reminder that grand gestures mean absolutely nothing without respect and honestly, icon behavior. Is Kristen Bell trapped in a toxic marriage? Let's dig into it. Lock in with me. The internet just collectively short-circuited after she casually said something that absolutely detonated her carefully curated Hollywood healthy marriage image. Now, Kristen Bell, America's quirky, relatable sweetheart, openly admitted that she doesn't really care if her husband, Dax Shepard, cheats on her. And no, she didn't whisper it in like a therapy session. She said it out loud in an interview like it was a normal Tuesday thought. And the moment that sentence left her mouth, well, people stopped hearing nuance and started hearing sirens. Her logic was basically this: humans are attracted to other humans, marriage doesn't magically turn your eyes off, and pretending otherwise is kind of delusional. She framed it as honesty, emotional maturity, and realism. The internet framed it as blink twice if you're trapped. Because let's be real for a second, when a woman says she wouldn't care if her husband cheated on her, people don't hear confidence, they hear resignation, they hear coping, they hear someone who's talked themselves into accepting less than they deserve, especially when that husband is Dax Shepard, a man who has openly talked about his past cheating, substance dependency issues, and just emotional chaos for literal years on his podcast. So timing did her absolutely no favors either, because this comment resurfaced right after Kristen posted that deeply uncomfortable anniversary message where she joked that Dax once said he would never unalive her, even though he had every incentive to. And yes, she probably meant it as dark humor, but the internet read it and collectively went, girl, are you okay? Honestly, people were not laughing, they were concerned. And when you combine that post with her cheating comments, suddenly it stopped sounding like edgy humor and started sounding like someone normalizing dysfunction because it's easier than unpacking it. And that's where the toxic marriage conversation really kicked off. Even recently on a podcast, Dax admitted that he enjoys flirting with other people, and his close friend Monica Padman, who was the host of the podcast, told him, maybe you lost that right when you got married. He responded, well, in typical Dax Shepard way, saying he basically just likes to flirt. Okay, so Kristen and Dax have always branded themselves as brutally honest, therapy-obsessed, self-aware adults who fight hard but love harder. They've talked openly about, screaming matches, resentment, attraction to other people, and the constant work it takes to stay together. But there's a fine line between transparency and oversharing, to the point where people start questioning whether you're actually happy or just committed to the narrative of being real. Kristen tried to clarify that she wasn't saying cheating is okay, just that attraction is inevitable, and it's what you do with it that matters. But here's the issue. That explanation only works when your relationship doesn't already have visible cracks, when the public already knows your partner has a history of cheating. That clarification stops sounding philosophical and starts sounding like pre-forgiveness, and Dax didn't exactly help. I mean, instead of shutting it down cleanly, he kind of leaned into jokes, sarcasm, and podcast-style deflection, which only fueled the idea that this marriage survives on humor instead of boundaries. He even had to publicly clarify that they're not swingers, they're not in an open marriage, and not quietly redefining monogamy behind closed doors, because rumors had spiraled that far. But here's the uncomfortable part nobody actually wants to say out loud, but I will. Sometimes people normalize behavior not because they're enlightened, but because accepting it feels safer than confronting the possibility that your needs aren't being met. Kristen's comment didn't sound like someone empowered by trust, it sounded like someone emotionally detaching from a scenario because engaging with it would just hurt entirely too much. There's also a power imbalance people ignore. Kristen Bell is widely successful, yes, but she's also an emotional stabilizer in the relationship. She's the caretaker, the communicator, the one constantly framing chaos as character. And when that person says they wouldn't care if their partner cheated on them, it raises a bigger question. Who is doing the compromising and who is benefiting from it? This isn't about judging how people structure their marriages, it's about optics, patterns, and what happens when being chill starts looking a lot like emotional self-abandonment. Kristen might genuinely feel secure enough not to spiral over a hypothetical, or she might be doing what a lot of women do when they love someone complicated, redefining expectations so they hurt less when they're violated. And the reason this went viral isn't because people hate her, it's because they recognize the dynamic. They've seen it, they've lived it, they told themselves the same stories to survive toxic relationships that ask them to bend further than they ever should have. Whether Kristen wants to admit it or not, the red flags aren't hypotheticals. They've been public for years. Is Timothée Chalamet cheating on Kylie with an adult film star? Let's dig into this. Okay, so just when you thought the Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet relationship couldn't get any more random, here comes a plot twist that sounds like it was written by TikTok trolls itself, because now, people are asking one question: who is this other girl? And is there even one? So let's break it down for a second. So recently, a woman named Sarah Tina, I don't know, started getting dragged into a conversation, and not quietly either. This was like full on internet detective mode, screenshots, timeline, speculation, the works. And here's where it gets messy. Reports say that Timothy knew Sarah before he ever got involved with Kylie, which is fine. It wasn't during, there was no overlapping. It was before, is in different era, different chapter, different situationship. And yet somehow the internet looked at that information, threw logic out the window and said, perfect, let's call this cheating. I'm sorry, are we rewriting timelines now? Is that what we're doing? All right, bet. Well, from everything that's actually been reported, there's no confirmed cheating. There's no receipts, no crossover, just a past connection that people decided to turn into a scandal because why not? Boredom, vibes, Mercury in retrograde, I don't know, pick one. Maybe it's all three, who knows? But let's be honest, Timothy, being linked to an adult film actress before dating Kylie Jenner is exactly the kind of chaotic detail that the internet lives for. It's giving indie film meets reality TV meets wait, what? Now, allegedly, Sarah has said that they were in a non-exclusive relationship back in 2020 and were apparently seeing each other every other month for a few years. Again, allegedly. But she also allegedly expressed her true feelings to Timmy back in June of 2022, and then that's when he started being spotted with Kylie, which is very interesting timing. But here's the thing that makes this whole situation a little funnier. Kylie Jenner, the woman who has dated rappers, billionaires, basically built an empire off lip kits and vibes, is now somehow in a love triangle narrative that doesn't even really exist. The girl is literally minding her business, posting aesthetic selfies, probably sipping something expensive, and the internet is out here casting her in a storyline she didn't audition for. Meanwhile, Timothy, who built his brand on being this artsy, low-key, mysterious actor, is suddenly the main character in gossip that feels very not Oscar nominated. And Sarah, well, she didn't ask to be the villain in a story that doesn't even have a confirmed plot. This is what happens when people take, he knew someone before his current girlfriend and turn it into a full-blown cheating scandal. It's not investigative journalism, it's like fan fiction with Wi-Fi. Now, could there be more that we don't know? Sure, of course. Celebrities are private until they're not, right? But as of right now, there is zero solid evidence that Timothy cheated on Kylie with anyone. No timeline overlap, kind of, no confirmation, just speculation doing cardio. And honestly, the real takeaway here is how fast the internet will build an entire narrative off one little detail and run with it like it's the Olympics. Because suddenly it's not Timothy had a pass, which big deal. It's who is the other girl? Is Kylie being cheated on? Is this the end of their relationship? Relax, breathe, let's chill out, okay? Sometimes a past is literally just a past. Not every situation needs a scandal attached to it. But will the internet stop? Absolutely not. No. So for now, unless actual receipts drop, this cheating drama is looking a lot more like a misunderstanding with a PR glow up. And if anything changes, you already know I'm gonna be right back here breaking it down for you, because if there is an actual other girl, oh yeah, we're talking part 2 and onwards. Does Shia LaBeouf need a conservatorship? Some people think so because he is off the rails lately. You ever notice how some celebrity scandals don't shock you anymore? They just feel confirmed, because that's exactly where we're at with Shia LaBeouf. Now, for years, Shia has sold the image of the tormented artist, the misunderstood genius, the man who's done the work. But once again, his real life behavior is telling a very different story, and this time it's circling back to his relationship with Mia Goth, plus actually a new woman stepping forward with alleged recordings that are disturbing to say the least. But let's start with Mia. So she and Shia have been on again, off again for over a decade. Vegas wedding, separation, reunion, baby. We're talking like the full chaotic circle arc. Now, recently, Mia has made one thing very clear. She does not want to talk about Shia at all. Behind closed doors, reports say the relationship had been volatile for a very long time. Police were allegedly called to their home more than once over disturbances, arguments loud enough that outsiders felt concerned. I mean, this, wasn't quirky Hollywood dysfunction. This was instability. Now, here's where it gets even darker, okay? A woman named Drina came forward online claiming she was in a relationship with Shia after Mia. She says she escaped what she describes as a toxic situation. And she didn't just tell her story, no, she allegedly released audio recordings of Shia yelling at her during arguments. I heard them. They're scary. I mean, in the clips, he's reportedly heard screaming things like, "I can't stand you," and a bunch of other obscenities. Now, this was not scripted. It was not for a movie role. This was just raw, pure rage, like WWE style. Now, whether you like Drina or not, whether you believe every detail or not, this matters because it fits an already established pattern. This is not the first time women have accused Shia of emotional and psychological torment. I mean, his former partner, FKA Twigs, previously filed a lawsuit, describing what she said was a calculated pattern of control, intimidation, and mistreatment. She spoke about fear, manipulation, and lasting emotional harm, typical narcissist stuff. Now, those weren't internet rumors, those were sworn allegations that changed how a lot of people viewed him. Fast forward to now, and Shia is still making headlines for chaos. Earlier this year, like a week ago or so, he was arrested after an altercation during Mardi Gras, with reports describing him as intoxicated and aggressive. He headbutted a man. Like, it's getting weird. This is the same man who publicly talks about sobriety, healing, faith, and transformation. At some point, the words stop meaning anything if the behavior keeps repeating, which it is. Meanwhile, Mia Goth has stayed quiet. She's focused on her work, focused on motherhood, focused on building a stable life for her and her child. No messy interviews, no subtweets, no expose, nothing, and honestly, that restraint might be the loudest statement of all, because when you zoom out, this isn't about one leaked recording or one bad relationship. It's about a pattern stretching across years, across multiple women, across lawsuits, police calls, and now alleged audio of verbal, intimidation and coercion. I mean, talent doesn't cancel that out. Apologies don't erase it. And, I'm working on myself doesn't count if nothing ever changes. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So while Shia keeps spiraling between controversy and redemption arcs, the women around him seem to be doing the same thing, getting out, getting quiet, and choosing peace. And at this point, the real expose isn't what leaked, it's how predictable this all became.
So Selena Gomez found herself in the middle of some drama a few months back after a video was released of her dancing with Edgar Ramirez, her co-star from Emilia Perez, at a Sabrina Carpenter concert in New York. Now, what's so bad about a little dancing? I mean, it's not the end of the world, right? Well, it depends on the type of dancing. The type of dancing you do with your family member at your wedding, that's fine. Grinding your bits up on each other, different kind of realm. Usually your partner's gonna frown upon that. This dancing seemed to fall more into that category. People online were calling it a bit too intimate. In the video, you can see Selena kind of grinding up on Edgar, with him even getting behind her for a moment before taking some pics of the group. This clip quickly went viral, and some folks were all over it, saying that it just looked off because she's supposedly in a relationship with Benny Blanco. Speaking of Benny, he and Selena started dating in July of 2023, around her birthday. Fast forward to December, and she even went public about their relationship, posting a sweet message on Instagram saying that he was, quote, everything in her heart. Hearts contain two ventricles, veins, muscle, arteries, all very romantic stuff. But just when things seemed steady, rumors started swirling after this dance video, especially since Selena had tagged Benny in another post just earlier that night. Well, that was 3 months ago. The latest news is the two are now engaged, so I guess they sorted it all out. Selena posted a pic showing off a sparkly ring, captioned, "Forever begins now." Dave Grohl, former drummer of a little band called Nirvana, and founder, lead singer, and guitarist of Foo Fighters. You know, funny, charming, an overall good guy to everyone he meets, unless you're married to him, in which case you get cheated on. No, this hasn't just happened once. Dave Grohl is no stranger to the spotlight. He's also no stranger to relationship drama. Grohl first tied the knot with Jennifer Leigh Youngblood in 1994. They eventually divorced in 1997 after Grohl admitted to cheating. Then in 2003, Grohl married Jordan Bloom, the woman who would become the mother of his 3 daughters. Sounds like he might have learned his lesson, but not exactly. In September of 2024, Grohl dropped a bombshell on Instagram, admitting that he not only cheated, but had gotten a woman pregnant, a woman who was not his wife. He wrote, "I've recently become the father of a new baby daughter born outside of my marriage." Going back in time again though, he also had a relationship with a snowboarder named Tina Basic in the 90s. She dated Grohl for 2 years, and surprise, surprise, she alleged that he was seeing another woman while they were together. In her memoir, Pretty Good for a Girl, she said she found out through the grapevine. I don't know how anyone in this profession can have a normal relationship with a girlfriend, or 2, as it turned out. Grohl didn't give her the truth until she pushed for it, and she said all she got was a 5-minute phone call after weeks of calling him and hearing rumors. So yeah, Dave Grohl's got a history with decisions, but at least he's owning up to them now, saying he's, quote, doing everything he can to regain their trust and earn their forgiveness. But here's the thing, I just don't think some folks are meant for monogamy. So if you don't know, NBA star Tristan Thompson cheated on the mother of his kids not once but twice, from what we know, maybe even 3 times or more, when she was pregnant. Who is the mother? Well, she's a much less famous person named Khloe Kardashian, part of a very large and confusing family, the members of which I often confuse with one another. Now, after years of being the guy who just can't seem to keep it in his pants, Thompson decided to do some damage control. He decided to apologize for all the chaos he'd caused, and there were a few key members of Khloe's family on the list. He'd already sat down with Kris Jenner and Rob Kardashian, Kim Kardashian, and Kylie and Kourtney. Now, Kylie was not rolling out with the welcome mat. She admitted to being, quote, a little nervous to talk to Tristan, and you can't really blame her. I mean, this is the guy who kissed her best friend, Jordan Woods, at a party back in 2019. Tristan knew he messed up though, and owned up to it, saying, "The fact that I came with my poor decisions and being an effing idiot and just being young and stupid, I just want to say I'm sorry again for that." He really went on the apology tour. Now, Kylie took it surprisingly well and insightfully and graciously exclaimed, quote, "I appreciate that." But then she went on to talk about how tough it was to lose Jordan because it felt like losing a sister. Now, don't panic, Jordan didn't die from the kiss. Kylie just didn't appreciate her friend kissing the partner of one of her family members on the lips and decided to stop being friends with her. Kylie didn't let him off the hook either, saying, "I think you have such a good heart, good energy, and to know you is to love you, your spirit and everything, so it is confusing because some of the you do is really effing crazy." Next up on this apology tour was Kourtney Kardashian, who had zero interest in pretending everything was fine. She asked the tough questions like, the next day after you do the deed, do you feel anything? Hopefully it wasn't a red bumpy sore. Tristan's answer though, for me personally, when I cheat, I feel disgusted the next day with guilt. Well, this man sure does like the feeling of disgust and guilt, because he's done it a lot. The fact that he even said, when I cheat, like he's talking about a slightly embarrassing eating habit. Kourtney asked him why he kept doing it, and Tristan said he was, quote, just cheating for an action, just cheating for a feeling, going on to say it also came down to not knowing how to love. The two first got together in 2016, and just days before they were about to welcome their daughter, True, into the world in 2018, he was caught cheating on Khloe with multiple women. They tried to make it work for the sake of their newborn, but then in 2019 the Jordan scandal happens, and of course Tristan and Khloe went through a breakup, but like clockwork they rekindled their romance after some time apart. In 2021 though, it came out that Tristan fathered a child with another woman, Marley Nichols, while secretly still dating Khloe. And while the paternity scandal was blowing up, Tristan had actually encouraged Khloe to do an embryo transfer so they could have a second baby via surrogate. Khloe touched on all that, saying, it's done. My son is here, your other son is here, and some of my family's emotions have settled down. Not forgotten, not forgiven, not any of that, but settled down. So they're trying to co-parent and move on, but the damage is still there. I just don't think anything will change. Again, some people just really aren't wired for monogamous relationships, which is okay. Just don't get into one, you know? Now, who in their right mind cheats on Megan Fox? Well, MGK cheats on her, apparently. MGK, or Colson Baker, if you're feeling formal, found himself in some pretty hot water with Megan Fox. Megan dumped him after discovering some suspicious text messages from other women on his phone. While they were off in Colorado for Thanksgiving, Megan decided to do a little snooping. Never recommended, but maybe she had her suspicions and just needed to confirm. Well, she found enough evidence to call it quits. An insider revealed she, quote, found text messages involving other women and decided she was done. And yes, she actually did have some trust issues with him before going through his phone. Apparently, she'd been suspicious of his past behavior, but like a lot of us, she thought maybe with time he'd settle down. She even got pregnant with his baby. She was really hoping to make it work, but the messages were just the last straw. She ended their 4-year relationship just 2 weeks after announcing she was expecting their first child together. Meanwhile, MGK, not one to handle a breakup with a normal person apparently, went a bit off the rails. He was reportedly smashing guitars, smashing glasses on his head. He'd actually gone to rehab to try and save the relationship before. He admitted on a podcast, quote, I didn't tell anyone outside of the people closest to me when he made the decision to check himself into rehab a year ago. MGK also credited Megan for helping him through his struggles with substances, saying, Megan has been extremely helpful in dealing with the kind of psychological withdrawals that come with getting off what I'm gonna have to call substances here on YouTube. Now, let's take a trip down memory lane, shall we? Get a little nostalgic. It was 2012. Barack Obama's presidency was in full swing. Jersey Shore was coming to an end. People thought the world was going to end, and a little series called Twilight ruled the world, and for many, ruined vampires forever. It was a time where Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson were two of the most famous people in the world. They were also one of the world's most famous couples, but then tragedy struck. On July 17th of 2012, Kristen Stewart was caught cheating on Robert Pattinson with Rupert Sanders, the director of Snow White and the Huntsman. She met him on set because she starred in that movie. I figured some of you at least would need a reminder on that. Does anyone remember that movie existed? Anyway, the scandal left Stewart, quote, devastated for tarnishing her relationship with Pattinson. All these years later, both couples have long since ended their relationships, but just to drudge up the memories for entertainment purposes, here's what happened. It was August of 2011 when shooting on Snow White and the Huntsman began. There were rumors even at the time that Stewart was early every day for work, but about a year later, Stewart met up with Sanders in LA and the two were caught making out. They spent the afternoon evading paparazzi and groping and kissing in between. Sanders, who is married with children, reported being remorseful after the news hit and his wife, found out. Stewart regretted it, but most importantly, all those twinkling vegetarian vampire lovers, their lives would never be the same again. It turned out true love was just a lie.
Dave Grohl took to Instagram back in September of this year to admit to cheating on his wife and welcoming an offspring with a named woman. He said, I've recently become the father of a new daughter born outside of my marriage. I plan to be a loving and supportive parent to her. I love my wife and my family, and I'm doing everything I can to regain their trust and earn their forgiveness. Dave Grohl shares daughters, with his wife, who he married in 2003. This was quite the revelation on the internet. So Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston might be amicable exes now. However, there was a time when things were really ugly between the two. So Brad was accused of cheating on Jennifer with Angelina Jolie, and the rumors proved to be true when he gave an interview to an international outlet, apologizing to his ex-wife. He told Parade magazine, I spent the 90s trying to hide out, trying to duck the full celebrity cacophony. I started to get sick of myself, sitting on a couch, holding a little something, hiding out. It started feeling pathetic. It became very clear to him that he was intent on trying to find a movie about an interesting life, but he wasn't living an interesting life himself, and he thinks that his marriage had something to do with it, trying to pretend the marriage was something that it wasn't. He's satisfied with making true choices and finding the woman I love, Angie, and building a family that I love so much. A family is a risky venture because the greater the love, the greater the loss. That's the trade-off, but I'll take it. He did apologize to Jennifer Aniston, saying, it grieves me that this was interpreted this way. Jen is an incredibly giving, loving, and hilarious woman who remains my friend. It is an important relationship I value greatly. The point I was trying to make is not that Jen was dull, but that I was becoming dull to myself, and that I am responsible for. Well, are you responsible for Problem 2.0 with Angelina? It's no secret that Tristan Thompson has landed in hot water multiple times for cheating on Khloe Kardashian. He was caught cheating on Khloe just days before she gave birth for the first time, back in 2018, and while the reality star decided to give the professional athlete a second chance for the sake of their their daughter. They ultimately split in February of 2019 after he was caught making out with her BFF Jordan Woods at a party in LA. The pair's relationship was further tested in December of 2021 when fitness model Marilee Nichols welcomed son Theo and sued Thompson for support. A paternity test later revealed that indeed he was the father. In 2022, news outlets confirmed that a surrogate was carrying their second offspring when news of the paternity scandal broke. And another insider was like, yeah, they haven't spoken since December outside of co-parenting matters, and they welcomed their second offspring while estranged. In July of 2012, paparazzi photos of Kristen Stewart, who was dating Twilight co-star Robert Pattinson at the time, kissing director Rupert Sanders, were published by news outlets. The actress released a statement shortly afterwards saying she was deeply sorry for the hurt and embarrassment she caused to those close to her and everyone it affected. That momentary indiscretion jeopardized the most important thing in her life, the person she loved and respected the most, Rob. I love him, I'm so sorry. In 2013, after welcoming the 4th edition of their now 5 additions to the family, it was revealed that Dean McDermott cheated on Tori Spelling in a 2-day fling. In a candid interview with ET Canada the following year, he admitted that what he did was wrong, but he was painted in an unfair light for it. He said, when you're at the checkout and you look over and see one of those magazines and it's like, Dean McDermott's a monster. And I'm like, no, I'm not a monster. I'm a human being and I messed up. He said he messed up and he's owning up to it and he's getting help. But to label me a monster or evil is very hurtful. Now, the duo did work through the cheating, but they called off their marriage in 2023. Jack Nicholson and Angelica Houston split in 1989 after she found out he got somebody else pregnant. Years later, the shining actor spoke about his infidelity, saying, I was in a wonderful relationship with Angelica. It was as good as it gets. I immediately told her what was up and she made the decision for us. He recalled saying that her first response was, you have to support this woman. Now, her second response was to come down to my job and bop the hell out of me. And he said, she really did a number on me. Angelica can really throw a punch. In a rather gross take, Nicholson concluded, I'm such a wag, I'm a scamp, I don't deny it, I like myself, I grew up in a beauty parlor my family ran, so I'm used to getting along with the ladies. I prefer their company for the most part. I was pampered from the very beginning. Blech. Known to be a flirt and flaunting his narcissistic being, Adam Levine was accused of cheating on his wife of 8 years, Bahati Prinsloo, with an Instagram model. Summer Stroh made a TikTok alleging that she had a year-long affair with the Maroon 5 frontman, and as she pulled up several receipts, he released a statement on his Insta story which read, I used poor judgment in speaking with anyone other than my wife in any kind of flirtatious manner. I did not have an affair. I crossed the line during a regrettable period of my life. In certain instances, it became inappropriate. And well, Adam's like, no, I did not cheat. I did not cheat. 5 other women have come forward with claims of inappropriate behavior from him, so Britney Spears was completely infatuated with Justin Timberlake during the relationship from 1999 to 2002. She was so in love that she didn't want to rock the boat when she knew he was cheating on her, and she wrote as much in her memoir, The Woman in Me. She said, pretty soon I realized I was head over heels in love with him. So in love it was pathetic. I was so in love with Justin, just smitten. I don't know if when you're younger, love's a different thing, but what Justin and I had was special. He wouldn't even have time to say anything or do anything for me to feel close to him. The two shared a home in Orlando and would see each other between their performance commitments. Despite the giddiness and infatuation she describes, Britney did say that there were a couple of times during the relationship when she knew Justin had cheated on her, especially because she was so infatuated and so in love, she let it go, even though the tabloids were determined to rub it in her face. Even when paparazzi had photos of Justin in a car with a certain human, she said, I never said anything. At the time, we'd only been together for a year. There were rumors about him with various dancers and groupies. I let it all go, but clearly, he'd slept around. It was one of those things where you know, but you just don't say anything. What comes next, folks, may seem familiar if you've seen the music video for Cry Me a River. Britney fooled around with choreographer Wade Robson, who had worked with both singers. And she said, so I did too. Not a lot. One time with Wade Robson, we went out one night, we went to a Spanish bar, we danced and danced. I made out with him that night. She said she was loyal to Justin for years, only had eyes for him with that one exception, which she admitted to him. That night was chalked up to something that will happen when you are as young as you were, and the duo moved past it and stayed together. She thought they were going to be together forever. She hoped they would be. Obviously, history has shown that forever didn't come true, but Britney didn't see the eventual text message breakup coming. She said that when Justin first started making his solo album, he was getting very standoffish with her, and she thinks that's because he decided to use her as ammunition for the record, and so it made it awkward for him to be around her, staring at him with all that affection and devotion. She saw the breakup message while filming the music video for Overprotected, the remix, which, oh, such a good video, and then went back to work. She said, I had to go back out and dance. For as much as Justin hurt her, there was a huge foundation of love, and she said when he left her, she was devastated. She said she could barely speak for months. When anybody asked about him, all she could do was cry. She doesn't know if she was clinically in shock, but she felt that way. She talked about how his family had been the only real loving family she had. Okay, my cruel intention-loving heart shattered when I found out Ryan Philippe had cheated on Reese Witherspoon because she deserves better. The relationship ended in 2007 after she confronted him about being unfaithful after reading text messages between him and his co-star, Abby Cornish. Having said that, Ryan Philippe pointed out in a 2008 interview that the scrutiny that Abby faced was uncalled for, which that's fair. He said it was unfair for her to be called the name she was because, well, it wasn't about that. I don't think an outside person can ever cause a divorce. He said he had difficulties in his relationship and marriage long before he ever met her.
I will never forget the early days of Keeping Up with the Kardashians and their over-the-top spin-offs. In Kourtney and Kim Take New York, Kim Kardashian has a whirlwind romance with her Australian bodyguard, Shango Dean. Kardashian bashfully asking her towel-draped bodyguard out to dinner, giggling as he agrees, and then calling her sister to spill all the tea straight afterwards is almost as iconic as her losing her diamond ring in the Bora Bora Ocean and providing meme content for years to come. Not to mention Dean's "you're the boss" comment over dinner that basically sealed the deal for the now multi-brand big boss Kardashian. They started their very brief romance in the early 2000s, and at the time he was actually still working also as a bodyguard for her friend Paris Hilton. And when Shango told Kim that he had to go back to Australia, only giving her like 2 days notice, Kim was visibly upset, and Scott Disick, Kourtney's boyfriend at the time, told Kim she could just like marry him and then he could legally stay in the country since things seemed to be going so well. Needless to say, that did not happen. She did not marry him, and he simply went back home after spending, his final night together with her. Despite only getting to see a small glimpse into Kim and Shango's short-lived love, it was really fun while it lasted. Next up, we have the late and great Princess Diana. Princess Di had an alleged affair with bodyguard Barry Manicky. Now, Barry Manicky was a police officer with the Royal Protection Squad and was assigned to Princess Diana's detail. In April of 1985, 37-year-old Manicky was assigned to watch over Diana. Not only did the relationship start long before Charles and Camilla's phone saga, but Manicky was transferred once staff got wind of the affair, and Diana wasn't too happy about it. Manicky outright broke protocol of maintaining distance from his principal. Ken Worf, Manicky's successor, said that Manicky had tea with Diana in her private drawing room, which was unheard of. The two were also overheard flirting, and in the Diana Chronicles, which is a British biographical book written and released by Tina Brown, Brown wrote that Diana said she played with fire with this relationship, but really it was Manicky who played with fire. And a former Royal Protection officer said once he was removed as her bodyguard, she was throwing her shoes at the back of his head. She was like completely distraught, and life was quite difficult for everybody. What's more, in 1987, Diana's alleged lover actually passed away a year later in a traffic accident similar to her own. He was actually, unalived in a motorcycle accident. Crazy. Very interesting. Rest in peace, my dear Diana. Britney Spears is next on the list. Britney dived into bodyguard territory in 2008 when she famously shared a few date nights and dance moves with her hired help, Lee. Don't know the last name. A former Israeli soldier, Lee and Spears were seen frolicking in the pool and getting down on the dance floor when on vacation in Los Cabos, Mexico. The affair made for hot gossip at the time and a hot summer romance for Brit, but didn't make the long haul. Allegedly, Lee was actually the fourth member of staff to be dated by Spears. A source close to Spears had said at the time, Britney and Lee hit it off immediately. He is her perfect type. She loves guys who work out, and he is in great shape from his days, serving in the army. He also has a few tattoos, which she loves. They've spent so much time together that one thing led to another, and their relationship became physical. They are in Mexico together. They've been having a great time. Lee puts a smile on her face. Well, we all know that was short-lived, as they didn't swim off into the sunset and live happily ever after. Britney would then go off to have many more short-lived relationships, and her current status, honestly, kind of unknown, but she hasn't done much lately. Come to think of it, I'm just kind of waiting to see another Dancing with Knives moment go viral from her, so stay tuned for that. Jennifer Lopez, we all know she has quite the dating record. Multiple boyfriends, engagements, and marriages. I mean, she is currently single, which likely won't last long, but back in 1997, not long after she left the block, Jenny married her trainer and bodyguard, Ohani Noah. And to be fair, he actually only became her bodyguard because they were together first for so long and there was no work for him, so he basically just took on that role. However, the pair divorced divorced 11 months later. Jennifer Lopez actually did say in an interview back in 2019 that in her mind, the marriage didn't really count. She said, you know, I've been married like 3 times, and once was 9 months and once was 11 months. I was very young. The first 2 times I tried to get married, so it doesn't count. Noah, on the other hand, was actually quite devastated by their breakup. He would go on to say that Jen loves being in love, but she's been engaged 6 times. Ben is husband number 4, I was husband number 1, and she told me I was the love of her life. When we laid in bed on our wedding night, she would say things like, we will be together forever. Honestly, it is very much giving Jen's the one who got away from him, but also he blamed Diddy for their breakup, saying P. Diddy planted the seed for her to end their relationship, and he actually tried to expose Lopez by threatening to release like some home video footage he had of her and secrets that she just didn't want revealed. It is so messy, and he was likely just looking for a payday. Nothing ever got released though, and honestly, I just hope at this point that Noah has moved on for good. Proving that the perfect rebound is one on your payroll, Heidi Klum started locking lips with her bodyguard pretty soon after she and ex-hubby Seal split. In 2012, romance rumors started swirling around Klum and her hired security guard Martin Kirsten. Now, the model revealed in an interview with Katie Couric at the time, saying Martin is a great man, and recently we just got to know each other from a completely different side. The pair reportedly dated, for a year and a half before calling it quits in 2013. Allegedly, Heidi reportedly played the role of sugar mama. Following the breakup, she allegedly bought her bodyguard, ex a house for his mother in his home country of South Africa, gave him money in an effort to keep him quiet. Heidi also may have given Martin money in addition to the house. A friend of his actually said she was spending like thousands of dollars on dinners, parties, clothes, like anything to kind of keep him quiet. Another friend of Martin claims he ended their romance because he was just sick of being like a house husband. He went from having a successful security career to playing Mr. Mom. He did, everything for the children. The friend claims that while Heidi would be working and out of town, Martin would look after her 4 children, whom she had with ex-husband Seal. Pamela Anderson may have avoided getting sick during the lockdowns, but she couldn't help catching feelings for her bodyguard. The former Baywatch star tied the knot for the 5th time with Dan Hayhurst in 2021. Now, the intimate ceremony was held on the grounds of her home on Vancouver Island on Christmas Eve. Now, the newlywed told Daily Mail TV at the time, I'm exactly where I need to be, in the arms of a man who truly loves me. They confirmed meeting while Hayhurst was working on the model's home, while, staying in his arms for just under a year. Anderson divorced Hayhurst in January 2022, dubbing the marriage a disaster. She said it was worse than like any of them. And she said she realized, oh my God, I'm like caught up in this whole thing. What am I doing? It just struck me, this is another disaster. I was paying for everything, cooking, cleaning for everybody. And so I just got out of it as soon as I could. A source close to Pamela actually said Pamela went into the relationship hopefully, saying she goes into everything, hoping for the best, and she thinks every marriage will be her last. She continued to say, I think they had a lot in common, especially their love for, Vancouver Island, but they just fell out of love. Now, after the split from her 5th husband, Anderson began to compile her memoir, Love Pamela, and work on her Netflix documentary, Pamela, A Love Story. And lately, Pamela has been focusing on herself, her sons, and her projects, and I love that for her.
Actress Elizabeth Moss described her only marriage as traumatic and once joked that her ex was impersonating a normal person. The ex in this scenario was Fred Armisen, who you might recognize from SNL or more recently, Wednesday. The man was known for being a good comedic actor and kind of a chameleon of a person, good at impressions. Their wedding was low profile and the marriage unfortunately brief. Actually, it might be fortunate that it didn't last very long because it doesn't sound like they were a good match at all. We already mentioned that Moss said the marriage was traumatic for her, but she used other synonyms too, like awful and horrible. Speaking to Page 6 after everything was over, Moss was asked if her and her ex still talked, to which she said, oh God no. Continuing with, he's so great at doing impersonations, but the greatest impersonation he does is that of a normal person. To me, that sums it up. So she has made her stance on everything very clear. As for Fred, he has said that the split left him heartbroken. On the WTF with Marc Maron podcast, the actor said that he got caught up in it all. He was starstruck by his partner because it's Elizabeth Moss, star of Mad Men. It sounds like the marriage and divorce wasn't a stellar experience for either of them.
Madonna and Sean Penn. Now, the singer and actor met on a music video set and started dating in February of 1985. 6 months months after they first met. They were married in Malibu, California on Madonna's 27th birthday, the day before Penn's 25th birthday. Now, their special day attracted a lot of attention. Madonna acknowledges, in a documentary audio clip that she couldn't hear the vows during the ceremony due to all of the helicopters that were buzzing overhead. This apparently angered Penn, and it was, the first time that Madonna and her friends and family had seen his evil side to him, with all this rage that was coming out of him, like fire breathing through his nose. Now, her brother said it was just alarming. Her brother, Christopher Ciccone, who would later go on to share a lot of these details in a documentary of that day, also said he saw Sean write something, derogatory in the sand for the pilots and the helicopters to read. He said Madonna was visibly upset and kept trying to calm Sean down, and stop him from doing whatever he was doing. He said, looking back, all that crazy stuff that was happening was a bad omen for the future. Just over 2 years later, in December of 1987, Madonna filed for divorce. Her rep told People magazine at the time there was no one direct incident leading up to this. It was just a series of, accumulative pressures. There were many moments in their marriage, though, when it was shaky, and Madonna was finally forced to face the reality of the situation, that they just weren't happy together. Now, in 1987, there were also allegations that Sean attacked Madonna with a baseball bat, amongst many other accusations. Later in life, when Sean was asked about the allegations in an interview with the New York Times, Sean said, "I had a SWAT team come into my house. I was eating breakfast, and the next thing I knew, windows were being broken all around the house, and they came in and they put me in handcuffs." He went on to say that if he had hit her with a baseball bat, surely she just would have gone to the hospital. So basically, he was denying it, not really saying anything much. Now, Madonna would go on record denying the attacks as well, and basically having his back. Her close friends and family said, she was covering for him and didn't want to ruin his career or her own, so she took it and held it in within her own self and never spoke about the truth. To this day, she refuses to talk about it and just wants everyone to forget these allegations.
Now, it seems like Ben Affleck didn't learn his lesson when he was with Jennifer Lopez. Now, the pair were dating and got engaged in the early 2000s, but called it off. Then they rekindled their relationship and got engaged again, actually got married, and then got divorced after only 2 years of marriage. Now, Ben has seen all sides of Jen, and he's made it clear that they had very different opinions when it came to privacy and the press. Ben was taken aback when Jen shared with songwriters the private love letters he wrote to her to serve as inspiration for her upcoming album, This Is Me Now. In a preview for her forthcoming Amazon Prime documentary, The Greatest Love Story Never Told, Jen had invited musicians to their home and gave them access to Ben's love letters. Now, later on, he says, "Things that are private, I always feel are sacred and special because in part they're private." He added, "When Jen and I broke up before, while looking back at the end of their engagement in 2003, the catalyst for that was this massive amount of scrutiny around our private life." However, he suggested that the couple didn't necessarily share the same viewpoints when it came to having a romance in the public eye. "I had a very firm sense of boundaries initially around the press, while Jen, I don't think, objected to it in the way I did," he said, "and I very much did object to it." Now, when there were rumblings about the couple getting divorced, a source had this to say: "If there was a way to divorce on grounds of temporary insanity, Ben would. He feels like the past 2 years were just a fever dream, and he's come to his senses now and understands there's just no way this is going to work."
Britney Spears has not had an easy experience in Hollywood, that is no secret. In fact, very little of her life past a certain point was a secret, especially not her relationships, but none were more reported on and criticized than that of her 55-hour-long marriage. Now, anyone might regret going through the trouble of getting married only to not have it count just 3.5 days later, but this particular situation was a nightmare of epic proportions. Britney had wed a longtime friend of hers, Jason Alexander. She'd known him since she was young, childhood friends to lovers, we loved to see it. Only, from the start, it seems like Spears was never really into this being long-term. To start, her wedding look featured jeans and a baseball cap. To explain that fashion choice and also the marriage choice, Britney later explained that this happened after a night of partying. She was trying to be rebellious, she wasn't trying to make a serious union, at least that's what one can gather from her statement with E! News. She said she wasn't really thinking of what she was doing at the time. Britney's team were quick to get an annulment for the pop singer. This 2004 wedding has haunted Britney Britney for pretty much her whole life since, and not even just because the public has a lot of opinions about it, but because Jason Alexander literally cannot let it go, to the point where he literally got arrested. Britney Spears has enough to deal with, she does not need this as well. Jason, to put it plainly, acted unhinged at Britney's 2022 wedding. What was supposed to be an exciting, intimate wedding at home quickly took a turn when Jason literally showed up on Britney's doorstep, going on about their marriage and telling people that he should be there because Britney was his first and only wife. After somehow gaining access to the property, he marched up to security and apparently said, "This is Jason, first husband, here to crash it." Now, with big celebrity incidents like this, details are usually not this public. We often don't really know what went down. If this were a normal situation, all we would know is that a past flame just broke into Britney's home on the day of her wedding. The reason we know so much is because Jason made another bold choice. He live streamed his activities. It's pretty clear that this man really just wanted attention, and probably not Britney. He might be waxing poetic about how she's the only wife he'll ever have, but I don't know. If you really wanted her and not attention, why live stream your exact activities and location and then announce that you want to crash the wedding? Yeah, Jason was arrested after a little scuffle with security, and that's also about when the live stream ended. TMZ reported that the police did escort him off the property and that Britney's lawyer worked with the sheriff's department to get him aggressively prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. NikkiSwift.com reports that in addition to being a nuisance, Jason was also a danger as he was spotted with a knife. Jason ended up being charged with trespassing and battery and was sentenced to 64 days. Britney's wedding did go forward that day despite Jason's attempts.
Kim Kardashian was with Kanye West for years before she realized what a horrible person he was. Now, they were happy until things started to go south in 2020. In July 2020, Kanye acknowledged the possibility of Kim ending their marriage, and later that month he wrote on Twitter that he had been attempting to divorce Kim. He also wrote that the Kardashian family was attempting to lock him up. Now, in January 2021, CNN reported that the couple were discussing divorce, and a month later, Kim filed for divorce, agreeing to joint custody of their children and declining spousal support from each other. Now, the divorce settlement was finalized in November 2022, but after they divorced, Kim started to date Pete Davidson, which Kanye did not like, and he took a lot of digs at Pete and Kim. Kanye bullied Pete all over the internet and also came out with a song about how much he hated him. Now, Kanye has also gone on many strange rants the last couple of years against Kim, where he once claimed that he was banned from his daughter Chicago's birthday party. He posted online about it saying, "You are lying and are liars. Y'all basically kidnapped Chicago on her birthday so she could remember her father not being there, so there. Also, I should see my children 100% of the time, but since there's a separation, it should have been 50% of the time. Y'all wouldn't have played with Donda like that in Jesus' name." Now, the Kardashians, for their part, have repeatedly denied Kanye's claims about Chicago's birthday, as after this rant, Khloe commented on Kanye's post begging him to please stop tearing Kimberly down, adding that her family has had enough of the false birthday narrative. Now, things have settled down as Kanye has remarried a woman who looks exactly like Kim, but hey, if that's what gets him to leave the real Kim alone, she's probably fine with that.
Sandra Bullock is beloved by most movie-going audiences, so when she got teary-eyed thanking her then-husband Jesse James at the 2010 Oscars, we all rooted for them. That also made it hurt twice as much when news broke that James allegedly cheated on her. He didn't just cheat though, he actually cheated with like a bunch of women. They were married from 2005 to 2012, and the marriage ended after James was accused of having these multiple affairs. Bullock met James while touring the set of his Discovery Channel show Monster Garage. She had taken her godson there because he was like a huge fan of the show. They married in 2005 and combined families to be one unit, and all was seemingly well. After Sandra won her Oscar in 2012 for her role in The Blind Side, several women came forward and claimed that James had had affairs with them. The couple then finalized their divorce in June 2012. In an interview, James had said, "Yeah, I did cheat on my wife. Yeah, I stood up and took accountability for it and apologized, and that's the end of the story." That comment rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because it came across like very bland and just disingenuous. James claimed that the paparazzi were part of the problem, whatever that means, and after his split from Bullock, James decided to make a permanent move to Austin, where he and Bullock had a home together. He said, "A lot of good happened out of the end of my marriage because it helped me focus on being a dad even more." more. It helped me focus on doing the right thing and being myself and getting out of LA and getting a better life for my kids. James remarried in 2013. However, that was another failed marriage. James has had a lot of controversy around him over the years, with many people calling him evil for some of the crazy ideologies, he's believed in. Many people believe that Sandra chose to ignore these red flags, and in turn, marrying him caused her to get some of that bad karma on her, which resulted in her never winning another Oscar again.
Tom Cruise. Now, Kate Holmes and Tom Cruise began dating in 2005, and Kate began studying Scientology shortly after. Now, in April of 2006, they welcomed their daughter Suri, and the couple got married 7 months later and would stay together for 6 years. Now, unfortunately, things ended badly in 2012. Despite staying pretty quiet during their divorce, yep, they were getting divorced, immediately people speculated that Tom's dedication to Scientology had a hand in it. When asked if Kate had requested a divorce in part to protect Suri from the group, Tom said, "There's no need to protect my daughter from my religion." But he did later admit that that was in fact one of the reasons. Now, it's since come out that Kate filed for divorce due to fear of Tom abducting their child into Scientology. Now, Kate was granted full custody while Tom was afforded visitation rights, even though the custody agreement struck between makes it clear that he can see their daughter for 10 days a month. It seems like he hasn't been able to make that happen. Now, on top of that, a source close to the situation said that it seems to be a deliberate choice he is making. But honestly, the thing that exposed Tom the most is, again, the fact on his own he decided to choose Scientology over his daughter, and he's literally not spoken to her since the split. Now, apparently members are forbidden from associating with non-believers, so he cut ties, which is honestly just sad.
After hearing about a 55-hour marriage, it makes Kim Kardashian's 72-day marriage pale in comparison. But that doesn't mean the drama wasn't there. Kim K married Kris Humphries in 2011, only to file for divorce roughly 2.5 months later. Everyone wanted to know why the high-profile couple was suddenly splitting up, and the answer wasn't easy for anyone to admit, especially for Kim K. A famous clip from her family show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, features Kim breaking down because she feels terrible for asking for a divorce after such a short time period, citing the fact that Kris changed his whole life around to make this marriage work, physically moving to be with her, and now it felt like it was for nothing. Humphries even went on record to say that he was 100% in that relationship and it was real to him. Kim filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. She also requested that neither side be granted spousal support. It was clear Humphries held ill will towards the whole situation at first, when he seemingly, in response to Kim's filing for divorce, filed his own annulment in which he cited fraud as the reason. He also claimed that he was devastated and that Kim K only wanted to marry him for TV ratings. The event was a big deal and got its own e-special called Kim's Fairy Tale Wedding that was about 4 hours long. Their divorce wasn't finalized until 2013 after Kris withdrew the fraud claim. Even though Kris was in the marriage until the end of the line, Kim later admitted in 2017 while speaking with Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live that she knew things weren't going to work out as soon as the honeymoon. Now, Kim K's ex is pretty different than some other celebrity exes. He actually does leave her to her business while he carries out his. He said that he doesn't want to associate with this past bit of his life, and for the most part, he's been following that.
Now, Julia Roberts and Kiefer Sutherland first met on the set of the 1990 film Flatliners and began a short-lived romance. Both actors ended their previous relationships, and they were not dating for long when they got engaged. They had a wedding planned for June in 1991, but on their wedding day, neither Kiefer nor Julia was at the altar. People noticed Kiefer removing his stuff from his and Julia's Hollywood home, and meanwhile, Julia wasn't even in the country, but in Dublin with Kiefer's best friend. Yep, she ran away with his friend, Jason Patrick, on the day of their intended wedding. We were both young and we were both very much in love. We had decided that we wanted to get married, and then other things kinda took over, Kiefer said on the Jess Cagle interview. Now, this sounds like something straight out of a movie that Julia would star in, not her real life.
Movie star Pamela Anderson experienced a pandemic romance that she ended up regretting shortly after getting married. Anderson was in Vancouver when the pandemic started. Her home there was being worked on, and it ended up being the matchmaker, as Pamela's future husband, Dan Hayhurst, was one of the contractors on site. Thanks to the fact that everyone had to stay inside, the pair got to experience the beginnings of their relationship without people poking their nose into everything. The relationship was officially confirmed in September of 2020, but the pair had been together long before that. that. They eventually wed a few months later on Christmas Eve. It was clear from details about the ceremony and comments from the couple that they both wanted this to work out. A source claiming to be close to the star told People that Pamela goes into everything hoping for the best. She thinks every marriage will be her last. Everything down to the wedding bouquet showed that the actress was in it for the long haul. The different flowers and other plants featured all stood for different types of love. Plus, she married Hayhurst at the home she bought from her grandparents. That was also where her parents got married. So things seemed to be going well. What could have led to that 2022 split? Pamela Anderson sat down for an interview with the Sunday Times in 2023 and explained her position. Apparently, she just came to her senses one day. She said it literally just struck her. She realized that she had romanticized a lot of what happened. She said that everyone was looking good, all the contractors that were here. In her defense, she did go from literally jetting around the world, meeting thousands of people a day, to being stuck in one place with all the same people, and that would cause a shift in anyone's brain. The actress said that one day she just realized that this wasn't what she had wanted and that the marriage was a disaster. She was the one paying for everything, cooking and cleaning for everybody. She said that she just got caught up in this whole thing and began asking herself what she was doing, which that is a glaring sign that you're probably not where you're supposed to be. Thankfully, she was able to get out of the marriage and did so as fast as she could. Looking back during this interview, she acknowledged that she regrets the marriage and said it was stupid. But there were signs that things weren't perfect. Even though we were all trapped inside, the couple still gave some fans details about their home life. They did a joint interview for daily gossip show Loose Women. The interview was of course conducted over video chat, and the couple chose to answer the call from their bed, which can't fault them for that, honestly. During the interview, the couple were asked to talk about what they liked about the other person and why they were attracted to them. Anderson was describing Hayhurst as a good guy, remarked about how handy he was around the house, saying that he was the kind of guy she would have met if she didn't go around the world and get crazy. Hayhurst said that they just couldn't resist each other and then offered to show the camera under the covers if the viewers wanted. Now, giving Pamela Anderson's history, given that her life was severely affected and made extremely difficult after the incident in which her tape was stolen and distributed without her permission, that comment, while clearly meant as a joke, was not a winner with fans, and people did not think it was appropriate.
Anne Hathaway and Raffaello Fileri are next. For 4 years, she dated a con man, unbeknownst to her, of course. Now, the former couple met through friends in the winter or spring of 2004. It was reported that Anne labeled it as like love at first sight. Fileri was 25 and Anne was just 22 at the time. The Italian businessman was reported to have defrauded around $50 million from renowned names like former US President Bill Clinton and billionaire Ronald Burkle. Now, he sought the investment for buying properties, which were mostly, churches from the Catholic Church. Now, he claimed he was or had connections with the Vatican to proceed with the fraudulent deal. And in June 2008, it was reported that the Italian con man also embezzled $1.3 million from business funds to finance the couple's luxurious lifestyle. He did an exclusive interview with the Daily Mail UK and said his past relationship to Anne was a fiery one, but with lots of instability as well. He also mentioned that he had gifted Anne several pieces of jewelry, including a very pretty emerald and pearly Cartier necklace and a topaz diamond cuff bracelet. He also stated that he remembers Anne's last words to him were, "I love you forever." And she said that to him at like 2 a.m. on June 24th, 2008, and he was arrested like 3 hours later. After that, they allegedly never spoke again. Anne did do an interview in 2008 with W Magazine, and she said, "As soon as I found out about the arrest, I had to get on a plane to Mexico to do a press tour for Get Smart. And then I spent the next week in shock." Anne faced, a lot of public scrutiny back in 2008 because many speculated that she had some sort of involvement in Fileri's felony. Lots of people believe she knew more than what she let on and that karma would get her for pretending that she didn't. Fileri served a 4.5-year sentence.
Emma Roberts and Evan Peters have actually broken up 3 times and been engaged twice, which is already pretty messy. Now, they called off their first engagement in 2014 before getting back together 2 years later. Now, this was of course after Emma was arrested. Back in July 2013, cameras caught the couple in the aftermath of a serious physical fight. The New York Daily News reported that on July 7th that year, Montreal police responded to a report of a domestic disturbance in a hotel room. Now they discovered Evan with a bloody nose and bite mark and arrested Emma. Evan chose not to file charges against her, however the Paps caught a dramatic scene as a distraught Emma hugged him as the news made headlines. Now afterwards, the pair told Us Weekly in a statement, "It was an unfortunate incident and a misunderstanding. Miss Roberts was released after questioning, and the couple are working together to move past it." Now the duo continued to date off and on until 2019. Evan was so in love with Emma and their relationship became very toxic, an insider told Us Weekly after their final split. They had the highest highs and then would not speak for days. Now the couple never addressed any of these incidents, and they had a very complicated relationship and then, of course, eventually parted ways, which was probably the best for both of them. Now starting off, we have Iggy Azalea. Iggy Azalea announced her engagement to basketball player Nick Young in 2015, but Nick cheated on her multiple times. His first bout of infidelity was when a friend of his recorded a video of him cheating, which he denied, and then he and Iggy continued their relationship. They reconciled, but they broke off their engagement later because she caught him on security cameras bringing other women into their home. Now after this was announced, Nick's high school sweetheart, Keona Green, announced that she was 22 weeks pregnant with his child, so he got back together with her and they are currently engaged. Now Iggy got the last laugh though, as in an appearance on Watch What Happens Live, she told Andy Cohen what she did to work through the pain, burning all of his things. "I burnt it all, darling. Every single designer you could think of, I've burned," she said. Now initially she tried to destroy his haute couture by tossing it in a nearby swimming pool, but it seemed like that didn't work. That's when she moved on to the impromptu bonfire. "I texted him a video and I was like, hey, I'm burning your I don't know where you're at, probably with some girl. I hope you get home quickly because we're progressing on the spectrum of cheap to expensive." Now this is honestly iconic and all I gotta say is good for Iggy. Then there's Tiffany Haddish. Tiffany Haddish wrote in her memoir, The Last Black Unicorn, of a time she once pooped in her ex-boyfriend's favorite pair of Jordan sneakers after learning that he'd be unfaithful. She said, "I ate a lot of corn, a lot, and I didn't chew it so well," she said. Now the messy story continues that right after he put them on unaware, she let him know that he just stepped in all the he put her through. Now thinking back on the moment, she said, "I know I'm crazy," giggling while promising it's a true story. She added, "I always try to think of ways to get revenge without going to jail." Yeah, that is absolutely insane and I cannot imagine what his reaction was. Moving on to Tori Woodward. Tori Woodward is an Instagram influencer who started dating Alex Powell, one half of the duo The Chainsmokers. Now they started dating in 2014, but their relationship came to an end in 2018 when Tori found out he was cheating on her, and then she exposed him. The pictures of Alex's apparent infidelity were captured by CCTV at a residential location and posted to Tori's Instagram stories. "Alex is disgusting, men are trash, don't ever forget it," Tori captioned one of the surveillance shots. "They'll look you in the eyes and tell you they love you, then destroy you without a second thought," she captioned another snap, which appeared to show Alex kissing an unknown woman outside the front door. When speaking about the breakup, he said, "She deserves the best, I wish nothing but the best for her, she deserves a better guy than me, I've been miserable." Now when asked what he learned from the breakup, he responded, "Be a better person and take care of those who love you." Now let's talk about Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj and Safari Samuels dated for 6 years after getting together in March 2002. Now they were engaged in October 2008 but later separated in August 2014. TMZ reported that Nicki and her ex-boyfriend had such a bad fight over the summer of 2014 that things got crazy very quickly. The report claims Nicki and Safari got into a nasty argument that continued to escalate. Now once Nicki had enough, she allegedly grabbed a baseball bat and used to chase Safari out of the house, and outside Nicki allegedly used the bat to beat his 2012 Mercedes. Now the police were called to the house, but thankfully no one was arrested. Now it turns out that Nicki was the owner of the Mercedes and that Safari was just allowed to drive it while they were together. But during this same fight, Nicki also removed all of Safari's clothes from her home and threw them in the trash. Safe to say, she was really angry. Now we have Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is a singer-songwriter who has sold over 200 million records globally and is one of the most best-selling musicians in history. Now, Taylor is an artist and she draws from real events that have happened in her life. Therefore, if you do her dirty, she'll pretty much write a song about you. Now, some of these are subtle, like a song about Joe Jonas called Mr. Perfectly Fine, but just because the song was low-key, that doesn't mean she won't call you out. In 2008, while on the Ellen DeGeneres show, Taylor said, "Someday, when I find that person that's right for me, he'll be wonderful, and when I look at that person, I'm not even going to be able to remember the boy who broke up with me over the phone in 25 seconds when I was 18. Now, she said that referring to Joe, which, ouch. Now, some of her songs are not so subtle, like Dear John, about her ex John Mayer, and it's important to note that Taylor was 19 and John was 32 when they dated. Now, the lyrics of the song include, "Dear John, I see it all now that you're gone. Don't you think 19 is too young to be played by your dark twisted games? When I loved you so, I should have known." Safe to say, if you do Taylor dirty, she'll let the world know through her music. Then we have Mel B. Mel B got married to Stephen Belafonte in 2007 and things went south. Now, they had one child together and she filed for divorce in 2017 as she accused him of emotional and physical mistreatment as well as having an affair with their nanny. Now, Stephen ended up marrying their nanny and Mel accused him of engineering a sham marriage for their nanny so he could carry on their affair. Now, she had a tattoo of Stephen's name and she had the tattoo cut off by a surgeon and she required 13 stitches. Yeah, she didn't just get it removed, she got it cut off of her. She will now need a laser to minimize the incision scar, and she said, "I wanted the tattoo removed to help close the final chapter on a toxic relationship," which she said in December 2017. Then there's Ellen Nordegren. Perhaps one of the messiest cheating scandals ever has to do with Tiger Woods. Now, Tiger Woods was one of the best golfers in the world, his career was skyrocketing, but then it all came crashing down. Tiger became engaged to Ellen Nordegren, a Swedish former model, in November 2003, and they married in 2004. They had 2 children together, but in 2009, cheating scandal after cheating scandal was exposed with Tiger. More than a dozen women stepped forward claiming to have had affairs with him, and when all was said and done, Tiger admitted to sleeping with multiple women, though it all started with one, Rachel Erchtel. Now, it was reported that Tiger allegedly had a months-long affair with the New York City nightclub host. Days and months following the report, more than a dozen women, adult film stars, strippers, and escorts claimed in various media outlets to have had affairs with him. Now, he lied about everything before finally confessing to cheating in a televised statement. Tiger then confessed to sleeping with 120 women while he was married. Yeah, 120. Now, after 6 years of marriage, his wife Ellen divorced him, thank God, and Ellen rose above the fiasco though, as she first received a $100 million divorce settlement and later earned a psychology degree in 2014 from Florida's Rollins College. Moving on to Amy Irving. Steven Spielberg is a filmmaker who married actress and singer Amy Irving. Steven met Amy in 1976 when she auditioned for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Now, after meeting her, he told his co-producer Julia Phillips, "I met a real heartbreaker last night. Although she was too young for the role, I met a real heartbreaker last night." Now, although she was too young for the role, she and Steven began dating, and she eventually moved into what she described as his bachelor funky house. They broke up in 1979, and it cost her the role of Marion Ravenwood in Raiders of the Lost Ark, which he had offered to her at the time. But then they reunited and they were married from 1985 to 1989. Now, somewhere in between, the couple reportedly drew up and signed a prenuptial agreement that outlined their income and property and limited how much Amy would walk away with should they divorce. Now, while this itself isn't surprising, the agreement was drawn up without lawyers present and was supposedly written on the back of a cocktail napkin. Now, the couple's relationship fell apart after the filmmaker began an affair with Kate Capshaw after meeting the actress on the set of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Now, in 1989, the couple divorced and they agreed to live near each other to share custody of their son, but Amy took Steven to court with the claim that the back of the napkin agreement was invalid because she did not have an attorney when they made the prenup. The court found in the actor's favor, ruling that under California law, Amy was entitled to half of his earnings from the 4 years of their marriage, which was an impressive $100 million. Next up is Jason Sudeikis. Jason Sudeikis is an actor, comedian, writer, and producer. He's best known for his roles in Ted Lasso, We're the Millers, and Horrible Bosses, and in 2011 he began dating actress and filmmaker Olivia Wilde. Now the couple became engaged in January 2013 and had a son and daughter. They broke up in the year 2020, and in April 2022, Olivia was in the midst of giving a speech to more than 4,000 movie executives about her film Don't Worry Darling when a woman approached her with an envelope. Now it was initially believed that she was being pitched a script, but that was wrong. She was being served custody papers by a process server for Jason. Then Olivia started dating Harry Styles, and that caused a whole other issue. Their nanny came forward and did an interview revealing personal details about the couple. Now the nanny claimed that Jason was out of control crying when he discovered text messages from Harry on Olivia's Apple Watch, and that he was crying to her about Olivia leaving. It was then said he was so infuriated and allegedly lashed out and chased after Olivia after she had prepared a salad for Harry with her special dressing. Jason then apparently went outside and laid under her car so she wouldn't leave. Yeah. And finally we have Britney Spears. Britney Spears exposed the heck out of her ex Justin Timberlake in her memoir. Now Britney dated fellow pop star Justin Timberlake from 1999 to 2002 and revealed in her memoir that she terminated her pregnancy when she became pregnant with Justin's child. It was a surprise, but for me it wasn't a tragedy. I love Justin so much. I always expected us to have a family together one day. She wrote, but Justin definitely wasn't happy about the pregnancy. He says we weren't ready to have a baby in our lives, that we were way too young. She went on to describe the procedure as one of the most agonizing things I have ever experienced in my life. Also, it was an at-home termination, and she didn't go to a clinic because she didn't want anyone finding out, and she was alone when she did it. Now she also revealed that she knew Justin had cheated on her a couple of times throughout their relationship. She specifically referenced photos catching him with a member of a girl group All Saints in a car in London, and that one of her dancers told her that he had gestured towards a girl and said, "Yeah man, I hit that last night." Now there were rumors about him with various dancers and groupies. I let it all go, but clearly he'd slept around, she said. It was one of those things where you know, but you just don't say anything. Britney then went on to say that Justin later broke up with her over text, which she said left her devastated. He sent her 2 words, "It's over." Yeah, her writing about Justin made him look like a big jerk, and now the whole world knows it.
Is getting freaky worth getting fired? It must have been for Ned Fulmer. The Try Guys YouTube series began with BuzzFeed, and it starred Ned Fulmer alongside Keith Habertsberger, Eugene Lee Yang, and Zach Cornfield. But it grew an audience of millions on the publication's platform before the guys realized, hey, why aren't we making a dime for our boss's dollar? And they went independent with Try Guys, as they rightfully should. Together, creating entertaining content for their masses, each Try Guy kinda had their own shtick. And Ned's was that he branded himself as the ultimate family man. His wife Ariel Fulmer was his entire personality, and he was supposed to be the wholesome one. But then came September of 2022, a little over 10 years after the couple, who shared 2 children, tied the knot. The persona Ned built came tumbling down. News broke via a Reddit chain that showed pictures of Ned cheating on his wife Ariel with Alexandria Herring, a producer at their company. The news and aftermath were an absolute whirlwind, and it resulted in Ned being kicked to the curb post a thorough internal review the same day the news broke. According to a video released by the 3 remaining members of the Try Guys the following month, a unanimous decision had been made to oust Ned, who wouldn't make any appearances on any more pre-recorded material going forward, but Ariel would. The story of a hidden love child forces one man to step down. Next up is Arnold Schwarzenegger. So, around May of 2011, there were rumors beginning to arise that Arnold had an affair with his longtime housekeeper, Mildred Patricia Baena, who's even fathered an illegitimate child with her, named Joseph, who bears a striking resemblance to the action star. These rumors ended up becoming so intense, Arnold is forced to step away from Governor of California role lest he face angry voters. But naturally, he and his wife Maria Shriver denied everything like crazy at first, until his wife took a step back to reevaluate the situation. The fact he'd suddenly upped how much they paid the housekeeper, the accused love child really did look like him, the fact that Mildred would have conceived at the time Maria Shriver was away working, and so Maria Shriver separated and filed for divorce from Arnold. This spawned a new wave of rumors, which finally confirmed by Arnold himself in May of 2011. He finally states that Maria left him because he'd come clean about the love child in a therapy session, whose creation he described as one of his biggest mistakes in life. His unexpected admission to the newspaper include another not so insignificant detail, that he only acknowledged the existence of the child whom he supported financially from a distance to his wife Maria shortly after stepping down from office. So, a classic for Twilight fans out there was Kristen Stewart's affair. When British director Rupert Sanders was chosen to helm Universal Pictures' fairy tale live-action Snow White and the Huntsman for his feature film debut, it seemed like the start of a promising career. But just a few weeks after the 2012 film's lackluster debut, he and the Huntsman star Kristen Stewart really top off the movie's bad press when they're captured by paparazzi making out. So, Stewart had cheated on her Twilight co-star, Robert Pattinson, and Sanders was unfaithful to his wife of 10 years, Liberty Ross, with whom he had 2 kids. Both released public apologies. Kristen's is particularly desperate and brutal, and it doesn't help either of them. Ross and Sanders ended up divorcing, can you pause it there? And nothing substantial transpired between Stewart and her boss, who were both then dropped from the film's sequel casting. Her career takes a massive hit, and she loses several other roles and endorsements, and faces harsh criticism from the press and the public. Kristen also had to deal with the fallout of her relationship with Pattinson, who she described as her first love, which ended shortly after the affairs exposed. While Stewart's career has started to bounce back following the scandal, it took Sanders even longer to secure a second feature directorial gig with 2017's Ghost in the Shell, which was then crushed by critics. When your producer cheats, you divorce and fire him. Next up is Robert Mutt Lange. It's a saga worthy of a country song. Shania Twain and her ex-husband slash producer, Robert John Mutt Lange, were one of the music industry's biggest power couples. Their split later became one of its biggest scandals. So Shania Twain's 14-year marriage to the music producer Robert Mutt Lange came crumbling down when she found out her best friend, Marie Anne Thibault, and Lange had been having an affair since 2008. News she couldn't accept at first when Marie Anne's husband, Frederick Thibault, told her. But by 2010, Shania is divorcing her husband and firing him as her producer. It was like I was kicked off my own bus while it was moving full speed, the Grammy winner told Red Book magazine in April 2011. But there's a very strange, happy ending here. Shania may have lost a best friend and a husband, but she gained a new love in her ex-best friend's now ex-husband. To quote her, "We slowly became very, very good friends," Twain told Ellen in 2011. "We had many months of just trying to make sense of everything, holding each other up. It was a very difficult time emotionally for both of us. I would say he was probably stronger than I was. He was a tremendous support. We were a support to each other and really found something beautiful in the end and unexpected." The couple then married in January of 2011. Ime Udoka was suspended from the Boston Celtics after allegedly cheating on his partner of 13 years, Nia Long, with a member of staff. News broke in September 2023 that he had been temporarily axed from the team following reports that he had violated their code of conduct by engaging in improper, intimate, and consensual relations with a colleague. And this public announcement is how Nia Long found out. Can you imagine finding out from your husband's workplace that he cheated on you when they put him on public blast? That's traumatizing, especially considering the couple, who first met back in 2010, can you pause it there, share a 13-year-old son named Kez, who also found out what dad did the same way. A few months after the news of Ime's alleged affair surfaced, a representative for Nia claimed to the clamoring for quotes press that the longtime couple were no longer together, but were remaining fully committed to co-parenting their son. Soon enough, the actor wound up discussing the devastating ordeal for herself in a candid chat with Hollywood Reporter, stating that, "I think the most heartbreaking thing of all of this was seeing my son's face when the Boston Celtics organization decided to make a very private situation public," she said. "It was devastating, and it still is. He still has moments where it's not easy for him," she went on. "If you're in the business of protecting women, I'm sorry. No one from the Celtics organization is even called to see if I'm okay, to see if my children are okay," she added. "It's very disappointing." Next up is a reality show nightmare with a snappy nickname, Scandival. Does someone quitting a show over a scandal count? I'm going to count it for this list. If you weren't a Vanderpump Rules fan, to fill you in, the controversy was over Tom Sandoval and Ariana Madix, the two longtime stars of the Bravo reality show. The two had been dating for 9 years when, without warning in March, it's revealed they'd broken up. Yeah, it turns out Sandoval had been cheating on his girl of 9 years with her best friend and co-star, Raquel Leviss. And not only was the affair confirmed, but much of the aftermath played out in public on Vanderpump Rules reunion special. Madix now says she has no interaction with Sandoval or Leviss. Meanwhile, Leviss had a complete breakdown over the consequences of her own actions and quit the show before checking herself into a mental health facility. All the while, the man in the middle, Sandoval, is still holding on and making statements about how he fought so hard for Leviss and was fully in love with her, but she shooed him away when the scandal broke. Should have shoot his ass off a cliff. A famous cheater to get the can was Scott Disick. Kourtney Kardashian's on-again, off-again relationship with Scott is a thing of pop culture legend at this point. They finally called it quits for what seems likely to be forever in 2015, but not before rumors of Scott cheating on multiple occasions surfaced as being the reason why. Scott and Kourtney were only on and off because the man could literally just not keep it in his pants. He was a brutal serial cheater. Kim and Khloe Kardashian once found texts to another woman on his phone, and after that, pictures of him partying on a boat with his ex hit the internet, prompting their last breakup. It's famously known in Keeping Up with Kardashian fanbase that Scott really didn't realize what he had in Kourtney until it was too late. And now he spends his time moaning and groaning over what he could have had with the mother of his children. Ultimately, in 2017, it leads to Scott being given the can by Kris Jenner from Keeping Up with the Kardashians for his unchanged way and exhausted role in the household. And while it never got him fired, Hugh Grant's affair demolished his career for several years, and it's so iconic I decided to slip it into this list. So, the British actor who had just achieved playing the lead role in 4 Weddings and a Funeral was meant to be in Hollywood to promote his latest film, 9 Months, when he decided, as a local paper said, to take a walk on the wild side. He cruises down LA's notorious Sunset Strip at night. It's here he meets Divine Brown, real name Estella Marie Thompson, a local working girl who he paid $60 to give her some bruised knees. Catch my drift. Grant and Divine are caught and arrested, not for the Adulterous Act, but for the fact the Adulterous Act was happening outside in a public space. Grant, the long-term partner of actress Liz Hurley, was quick to release a statement of regret to the press, but it was Divine Brown who the press really wanted. News of the World gets the scoop from her, paying her $100,000 for her story, which was a blow-by-blow account and a now famous sentence Grant told her. "I always wanted to sleep with a black woman, that's my fantasy." The tabloids went crazy with it. The revelations came days before Grant faced sentencing and became a media circus. The actor, who did not attend the court, was ordered to pay a fine of $1,000. Having violated a custodial sentence, Grant's career rehabilitation began with an interview on NBC's Primetime Tonight Show host Jay Leno to apologize to the world. But the damage was done. The bust occurred 2 weeks before the release of 9 Months with Julianne Moore. Rotten Tomatoes gave it the approval rating of 23%. He co-starred then with girlfriend Elizabeth Hurley in Extreme Measures, and it flops. Mickey Blue Eyes flops as well. So it kicks off a 3-year-long hiatus, ending his relationship with Hurley as well. It wouldn't be until 1999 the hit Notting Hill gives Grant a comeback. Divine Brown, by the way, pleaded no contest to engaging in lewd conduct in a public place at her hearing, and having violated her probation for previous working girl charges, was given an 180-day prison sentence. As Brown did not have to serve her sentence for 4 months, she had time to travel to the UK to promote Fantasy Channel, an adult station launched on satellite the same year, and even do some modeling. Speaking to The Guardian at the time, Brown said she hoped to run into Hugh Grant while she was in the UK. Kevin Hunter was fired and divorced. 2 birds, 1 stone for Wendy Williams, who had her estranged husband employed on her show as a producer. The Wendy Williams show host claimed for the first time in her 2001 memoir, Wendy's Got the Heat, that her husband had cheated on her, prompting her to hire a private investigator to trail him. 16 years later, Hunter was accused of cheating on Williams again after being spotted out and about in New Jersey with massage therapist Sharina Hudson. Reports then surfaced that the TV producer and Hudson had been romantically involved for more than a decade, which he and Williams then deny. But then in March 2019, Hudson gives birth to a baby amidst widespread speculation that Hunter's the father. A month later, the TV personality is filing for divorce from Hunter after more than 21 years of marriage. And then another week later, Hunter's fired from his job on her daytime talk show. To quote, Kevin Hunter is no longer an executive producer on Wendy Williams' show. Debmar Mercury wishes him well in his future endeavors. And to end things off, it's the beloved on-air affair. I've never seen an affair be so well loved, but it wasn't a so good an American morning when the Daily Mail splattered 64 images of Good Morning America co-host Amy Robach and TJ Holmes feeling each other up in November 2022. Given that both parties, were publicly known to be married at the time, the Amy Robach and TJ Holmes scandal began at the end of 2022, but as announced recently by the pair on their Amy and TJ podcast, they were ready to go public with their romance and respective in-process divorces at the time of those photos being taken, which they both insist was in motion before being caught. On December 5th, 2022, the duo were temporarily removed, can you pause it there, from the daytime television program as gossip about them reached a fever pitch. And even though Robach 50 and Holmes 46 had drafted respective statements to explain their sides of the story, they refrained from sharing them in order to not exasperate the issue. Maybe it would have been better if we'd released the statements, admitted Robach, but we were just trying to keep our jobs. This was two consenting adults who were each separated, a source close to them claimed. They were both broken up with their spouses in August within weeks of each other. But it didn't matter if they had broken up or not, because in early 2023, ABC President Kim Goodwin announced that the pair was leaving GMA. Not so amicably. They got the can.
Starting off, we have Ariana Grande. Singer, songwriter, and actress Ariana Grande married Dalton Gomez in May 2021, but just after 2 years of marriage, Ariana and Dalton called it quits. In July 2023, a source told People that the pair separated earlier in the year and have been quietly and lovingly working on their friendship since. Now, just days before their split was announced, Ariana was seen without her engagement ring and her wedding band. Ariana officially filed for divorce from Dalton in September 2023, with him filing a response immediately following. But it has been revealed that the reason for the divorce was that Ariana cheated on Dalton with her Wicked co-star, Ethan Slater. But here's the thing, Ethan was also married and had a child. His now ex-wife Lily, who's since been openly critical of Ari, apparently visited Ethan on the Wicked set in April with their infant son. The following month, Ethan gushed about her in a Mother's Day Instagram post, but by July 26, he had officially filed for divorce. Now, their timeline is a little more messy, but there was definitely some infidelity involved here. Now, this has had the internet up in arms about Ariana now dating SpongeBob, as Ethan played him in the live-action musical. Up next is Tristan Thompson. Tristan Thompson has cheated on Khloe Kardashian many times, so here's a brief synopsis of their relationship. In 2016, Khloe and Tristan started dating, and in spring of 2018, Khloe and Tristan were getting ready to welcome their first child together when photos and videos were released of him kissing other women. A couple days after the reports came out, Khloe welcomed their daughter True, but then TMZ then posted a video from earlier in October 2017 that appeared to show Tristan kissing 2 other women at a hookah lounge. More cheating allegations surfaced from there, including in January 2019 when it was revealed that Tristan had kissed Kylie Jenner's close friend, Jordan Woods. It was then confirmed that Tristan and Khloe were dating again in August 2020, and they called it quits again in June 2021. Now, in December 2021, news broke that Tristan was involved in a paternity suit with personal trainer Mara-Lee Nichols, and in January 2022, he revealed he was the father. Now, in July that year, multiple sources confirmed that Khloe and Tristan were expecting another child with the help of a surrogate. Now, the surrogate was already pregnant with the child when the news broke of Tristan's paternity scandal. Now, they kept the pregnancy a secret as long as they could to protect Khloe, and after the child was born, it seems like they are co-parenting but not together. Khloe gave him so many chances and he took advantage of that, and I truly hope that she doesn't give him another one, because at this point, it's just sad. On to Adam Levine. In 2012, Adam Levine began dating Behati Prinsloo, and they married in 2014, and in September 2022, it was reported that they were expecting their third child together. together. But shortly after, Instagram model Sumner Stroh posted a TikTok video claiming that she had an affair with Adam that lasted for about a year. Screenshots and video recordings were used as proof, and in one screenshot, Adam was seen asking for permission to use her first name for his unborn child, which is just insane. Now, Adam denied cheating, but from the screenshots of the messages going around, it's pretty clear that he was. The day after the allegations, Adam took to Instagram to say that he messed up, he didn't have an affair, but that he crossed a line. Since then, 2 additional women, Alison Rosef and Markea, later came forward with screenshots of flirty messages the singer had sent them, and a third woman, his former yoga teacher, accused him of texting her that he wanted to spend the day with her naked. Now, a 4th woman came out as well, and she told the Daily Mail that he would like and comment on her fitness stories, usually about her having the best butt in town. Now, this story was everywhere, and the whole internet turned against Adam. Then there's Ned Fulmer. One of the members of the internet group The Try Guys was exposed for cheating on his wife in late 2022. Ned Fulmer was the I love my wife guy, but in September 2022 he was exposed as a cheater. TikTokers posted photo evidence of what appeared to be Ned kissing one of his producers, Alex Herring. A fan also posted an Instagram photo with her and Ned, captioning it that she saw Ned and Alex together at a Harry Styles concert at the beginning of September. Rumors and proof were gathered, and later near the end of September, Ned confirmed that he had cheated on his wife, publicly apologized, and then got kicked out of the Try Guys. Now, the affair had been going on for a while, as after all of this was exposed, another TikToker came forward saying that she spotted Ned kissing another woman and that she had some videos and photos of them. She said she messaged Ned's wife Ariel to make her aware, but Ariel never saw the messages. Let's talk about Gerard Piqué. In June 2022, it was reported that Shakira had recently dumped her partner of more than a decade, Gerard Piqué, after she caught him with another woman. The singer and the soccer star, who share 2 sons, soon confirmed their split, though they kept mum on the infidelity allegations. Now, that changed in January 2023 though, when Shakira released a diss track that included lyrics taking shot at Gerard and his new girlfriend, who's 12 years younger than him. "You're acting so weird, I don't even recognize you. I'm worth 2 22-year-olds, Shakira sings. Now, she then went on to insult his intelligence, but there is more. Reports also surfaced claiming Shakira was clued into the cheating because she returned home after a trip to discover that someone had eaten some of the jam she kept in the fridge in the home she shared with Gerard. He and their sons all hated jam, so it had to be someone else who ate it, and that was the girl he cheated on her with. Now, that's a pretty good way to find out that someone is cheating on you. All I gotta say is iconic. Moving on to Amy Robach and TJ Holmes. Amy Robach and TJ Holmes were co-hosts of Good Morning America 3, What You Need to Know, and they had worked together since TJ joined the show in the year 2020. Now, at the end of 2022, the Daily Mail published photos of the co-workers taken across several outings, from getting drinks at a New York City bar to loading up a car at a cottage upstate. It was confirmed that they were cheating on their significant others. Now, neither of the broadcasters immediately addressed the photos or revealed whether they had split from their respective spouses. Now, TJ had been married to his wife for 12 years, and Amy was married to her husband for 12 years as well. Now, in January 2023, the couple decided to walk away from their positions as co-anchors after being caught in their affair scandal. Interestingly enough though, in December 2023, it was reported that their former spouses were dating each other. Now, that is just a strange twist to this story. Now we have Tom Sandoval. Us confirmed in March 2023 that Tom and Ariana Madix split after nearly 10 years together after he cheated with their Vanderpump Rules co-star Raquel Leviss. Apparently, Ariana learned about the affair when Tom and his band performed one of his new music singles live. Tom and Raquel visited his hometown of St. Louis in December 2022, but not to the knowledge of Ariana. Tom reportedly wanted to bring Raquel around his friends and family, though some declined to spend time with them and thought that the situation was inappropriate. He then posted an apology to his Instagram page saying, "I want to first and foremost apologize to everyone I've hurt through this process. Most of all, I want to apologize to Ariana. I made mistakes, I was selfish, and made reckless decisions that hurt somebody I love. No one deserves to feel that pain so traumatically and publicly. I can only imagine how devastating this has been for Ariana and everyone around us. I feel really horrible about that. My biggest regret is I dishonored Ariana. I never meant to disappoint so many people, including our loving families and friends. Afterwards, there was the explosive Vanderpump Rules reunion, and it was just a big, huge yelling match. Now we have David Letterman. Late night show host David Letterman admitted to having an affair during a taping of Late Night. David had only been married to his wife for 6 months and together for over 20 years when he admitted to being intimate with women who worked with him on air, specifically his longtime assistant Stephanie Burkett. The affair came to light when Stephanie's boyfriend Joe Halderman, a producer at CBS, allegedly tried to extort David for $2 million in exchange for his silence. David got ahead of him though, setting up a sting with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, which resulted in Joe's arrest. CBS issued a statement regarding the investigation and David's decision to speak out on the show, saying Mr. Letterman addressed the issue during the show's broadcast last night, and we believe his comments speak for themselves. Now to this day, David is still married to his wife. Next up is Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner first met on the set of the 2000 movie Pearl Harbor, but were in separate relationships at the time. Ben was engaged to Jennifer Lopez, and they were supposed to be married in 2003, but in 2004 they called off their engagement. Now Jennifer Garner was married to Scott Foley for 4 years, who she divorced in 2003. The pair then started a relationship and got married in 2005. They had 3 children and a perfect family until their nanny, Christine Azoyan, claimed that she and Ben had an affair. In 2015, sources told Page Six, amid reports of Ben's gambling and alleged cheating with other women, that the pair had drifted apart and had been in professional therapy for years. Now their split was announced a day after their 10th wedding anniversary, and they finalized their divorce in 2018, but remain on good terms. Now in a conversation with Vanity Fair, Jennifer had confirmed Ben's affair with the nanny. And lastly, we have Kristen Stewart. In 2012, photos of Kristen Stewart kissing Rupert Sanders, the director of her movie Snow White and the Huntsman, were released and caused a frenzy. Now at the time, she was famously in a relationship with her Twilight co-star Robert Pattinson, while Rupert was married to his wife since 2002, model Liberty Ross. After the photos were released, both Kristen and Rupert released their own statements. Kristen said, "I'm deeply sorry for the hurt and embarrassment I've caused to those close to me and everyone this has affected. This momentary indiscretion has jeopardized the most important thing in my life, the person I love and respect the most, Rob. I love him, I'm so sorry." Now they broke up and got back together multiple times, but they broke up for good in May 2013. This broke the hearts of Twilight fans everywhere, and I can't imagine how Rob felt having to work with her still after all of this happened. Starting off, we have Tiger Woods. Now Tiger Woods was one of the best golfers in the world. His career was skyrocketing, but then it all came crashing down. Now Tiger became engaged to Ellen Nordegren, a Swedish former model, in November 2003 and married in 2004. They had 2 children together, but in 2009, cheating scandal after cheating scandal was exposed with Tiger. More than a dozen women stepped forward claiming to have had affairs with him. When all was said and done, Tiger admitted to sleeping with multiple women, though it all started with one, Rachel Urschel. It was reported that Tiger allegedly had a months-long affair with the New York City nightclub host. Now days and months following this report, more than a dozen women claimed in various media outlets to have had affairs with him. Now he lied about everything before finally confessing to cheating in a televised statement. Now Tiger confessed to sleeping with 120 women while he was married. Yeah, 120. Now after 6 years of marriage, his wife Ellen divorced him, which makes a lot of sense. After the news broke, sponsors immediately cut ties with him, and he was out of tens of millions of dollars almost overnight. Now he thought he could get away with it because he was Tiger Woods, but that all backfired as he was actually made an example of. Up next is Amy Robach and TJ Holmes. Amy Robach and TJ Holmes were co-hosts of Good Morning America 3, What You Need to Know, and they had worked together since TJ joined the show in the year 2020. Now at the end of 2022, the Daily Mail published photos of the co-workers taken across several outings, from getting drinks at a New York City bar to loading up a car at a cottage upstate. Now neither of the broadcasters immediately addressed the photos or revealed whether they had split from their respective spouses. his. Now TJ had been married to his wife for 12 years, and Amy was married to her husband for 12 years as well. In January 2023, the couple decided to walk away from their positions as co-anchors after being caught in their affair scandal. A statement was released which read, "After several productive conversations with Amy Robach and TJ Holmes about different opinions, we all agree it's best for everyone that they move on from ABC News. We recognize their talent and commitment over the years and are thankful for their contributions." Now, they have continued their relationship today and have actually started their own podcast together. Now, after they spoke about their relationship publicly for the first time, Page Six broke the news that their exes were dating each other on December 5th, 2023. Sources said that the two had been dating for 6 months at that point after bonding over the traumatic experience of being cheated on. It turned into something else and they're connected over their values. It's bigger than the affair now, one insider shared. They're not heartbroken and sad, everyone has moved on. Now, I guess this is a happy ending. I don't know though, losing your job over a relationship isn't a good thing at all. Moving on to Meg Ryan. Meg Ryan had a successful career when she was married to Dennis Quaid, but her girl next door image was completely ruined when rumors emerged about her cheating with her Proof of Life co-star Russell Crowe. Now, the tabloid frenzy affair was publicly perceived as the reason for her divorce from her husband of 9 years, Dennis Quaid, and led to a serious decline in her popularity. Now, Meg also denied that her fling with Crowe was the reason for the divorce, saying, "My marriage was breaking up long before it became a matter of public discussion." Years later, Meg blamed her own affair on Dennis, claiming that he was cheating on her throughout their entire marriage. She said, "Dennis was not faithful to me for a very long time, and that was very painful. I found out more about that after I was divorced." Now, regardless, Meg's career hit a wall. Her film Proof of Life bombed at the box office, and the Golden Globe nominated actor has had trouble getting back into the limelight. And now there's Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger and his wife Maria Shriver had been married for 25 years when they announced that they were splitting up in 2011. Now, soon after the real reason for their split was revealed, Arnold had an affair with a woman who worked in their home, and she'd given birth to their son, Joseph Bena, 14 years earlier in 1997. Now, he kept that a secret for 14 years. What? Now, Arnold revealed the news to his wife after his time as governor of California came to a close. "After leaving the governor's office, I told my wife about this event, which occurred over a decade ago," he told the Los Angeles Times in 2011. "I understand and deserve the feelings of anger and disappointment among my friends and family. There are no excuses, and I take full responsibility for the hurt I have caused. I apologize to Maria, my children, and my family. I am truly sorry." Now, his son, who he kept a secret, Joseph, had a relationship with Arnold, and like his father, he is a bodybuilder. But now just imagine if all this came out when he was still a governor. Moving on to Ned Fulmer. Ned Fulmer was a member of the internet group called the Try Guys. Now, his main personality trait in the group was the "I love my wife" guy, but then in September 2022, he was exposed as a cheater. TikTokers posted photo evidence of what appeared to be Ned kissing one of his producers, Alex Herring. Now, a fan also posted on Instagram a photo with her and Ned, captioning it that she saw Ned and Alex together at a Harry Styles concert at the beginning of September. Now, rumors and proof were gathered, and later, near the end of September, Ned confirmed that he had cheated on his wife and publicly apologized. Due to this being a work-related incident and the Try Guys losing a lot of money due to the scandal, Ned was kicked out. The Try Guys Twitter posted a message saying Ned Fulmer is no longer working with the Try Guys. As a result of a thorough internal review, we do not see a path forward together. We thank you for your support as we navigate this change. Now, it seems like Ned is back together with his wife now, but I don't think he'll be getting his career back anytime soon. Then there's Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was the 42nd president of the United States from 1993 to 2001, but in the 90s, Clinton was accused of being in a relationship with Monica Lewinsky, an intern at the White House, who was hired during Clinton's first term in 1995. Now, Clinton had been married married to his wife Hillary since 1975, but he denied that he was having an affair. During a televised statement, the president denied having a sexual relationship with her, stating, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky." Afterwards, though, Monica confided in Linda Tripp, her co-worker, about the relationship and how it was true. It was then brought to light that Bill's and Monica's sexual relationship lasted between 1995 and 1997. Bill then finally admitted that he had a relationship with her, stating, "I did have a relationship with Miss Lewinsky that was not appropriate. In fact, it was wrong. It constituted a critical lapse in judgment and a personal failure on my part for which I am solely and completely responsible. I know that my public comments and my silence about this matter gave a false impression. I misled people, including even my wife. I deeply regret that." Now, this ultimately ruined his reputation and Monica's. Moving on to Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner first met on the set of the 2000 movie Pearl Harbor, but were in separate relationships at the time. Ben was engaged to Jennifer Lopez, and they were supposed to be married in 2003, but in 2004 they called off their engagement. Jennifer was married to Scott Foley for 4 years, who she divorced in 2003. Ben and Jen then started a relationship and got married in 2005 and had 3 children, and likely had a perfect family, until their nanny, Christine Ozozian, claimed that she and Ben had an affair. In 2015, sources told Page 6, amid reports of Ben's gambling and alleged cheating with other women, that the pair had drifted apart and had been in professional therapy for years. Now, their split was announced a day after their 10th wedding anniversary, and they finalized their divorce in 2018, but remain on good terms. In a conversation with Vanity Fair, Jennifer had confirmed Ben's affair with the nanny, as she said, "Let me just tell you something, we had been separated for months before I ever heard about the nanny. She had nothing to do with our decision to divorce. She was not a part of the equation." Now we have Kristen Stewart. In 2012, photos of Kristen Stewart kissing Rupert Sanders, the director of her movie Snow White and the Huntsman, were released, and they caused a frenzy. Now, at the time, she was famously in a relationship with her Twilight co-star Robert Pattinson, while Rupert was married to his wife since 2002, model Liberty Ross. Now, after the photos were released, both Kristen and Rupert released their own statements. Kristen said, "I'm deeply sorry for the hurt and embarrassment I've caused to those close to me and everyone this has affected. This momentary indiscretion has jeopardized the most important thing in my life, the person I love and respect the most, Rob. I love him, I'm sorry." But ultimately, she and Robert broke up in May of 2013. Now, Rupert's statement said, "I'm utterly distraught about the pain I've caused my family. My beautiful wife and heavenly children are all I have in this world. I love them with all my heart. I'm praying we can get through this together." But after this, his wife filed for divorce 6 months later. Next is Jesse James. Jesse James was caught cheating on his wife, Sandra Bullock. They got married in 2005, but when it was uncovered that Jesse had been cheating on Sandra for a long time with multiple women, he became, by his own admission, the most hated man in the world. Now, In Touch magazine revealed the intimate details of Jesse's affair with model Michelle Bombshell McGee in March of 2010. Later, 2 other women, Melissa Smith and photographer Bridget DeGuer, also claimed to have had romantic entanglements with Jesse during his marriage. Jesse said, "Yeah, I did cheat on my wife. Yeah, I stood up and took accountability for it and apologized, and that's the end of the story." Now, he eventually checked into rehab for a love addiction, and Sandra swiftly filed for divorce. Now, they were in the process of adopting a child together, but Sandra chose to continue the adoption process of her son Louis without James, and 7 years later, James said that he had no regrets. And finally, we have Jada Pinkett Smith. The actress Jada Pinkett Smith admitted on Red Table Talk that she had an entanglement with R&B singer August Alsina during her marriage to Will Smith, although they were separated at the time. Now, though the Smiths wouldn't call it a scandal, the rest of the world was shocked when August spoke out about a relationship he had with Jada Pinkett Smith during an interview in June 2020. He said, "I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life, and I truly and really deeply love and have a ton of love for her." Now, he went on to claim that Will knew about the relationship and even gave August and Jada his blessing. Now, naturally, people were shocked, as the Smiths are one of the longest lasting and famous Hollywood couples in recent history. Now, first, the couple issued a quick statement denying the relationship, but Jada then announced on her Twitter that she was taking herself to the Red Table. In July 2020, the Smiths sat down at the Red Table and discussed their relationship. They spoke about a dark period in their marriage where they thought they were going to separate and never speak again. Now, that's when Jada and August began their relationship, or what what she originally called an entanglement. Will denied giving August permission, but did know that the two were seeing each other. However, their relationship came to an end once she and Will decided to try and work things out, which they did.
Number 10. Will Smith and Margot Robbie. In 2013, Star magazine published a bombshell allegation that Will Smith was caught cheating with his co-star Margot Robbie when they worked together on the movie Focus. The report actually claimed that in photo booth pictures that they found and published on their cover, Will appeared to be shirtless and Margot lifted up her own shirt to reveal her lingerie. The magazine also claimed that after they pulled the curtain back to take the pictures, they were getting very touchy-feely with each other in the dark. The scandal was massive at the time because Will is married to Jada Pinkett Smith, and back then they had yet to admit to having an open relationship. But the rumors soon died down as E! News revealed that the pictures were commissioned by a production and that the entire cast and crew saw them being taken. It also came out that Will and Margot are absolutely just friends and there was nothing else going on between them. Even Margot was quick to deny everything on Twitter. Quote, "There's absolutely no truth to the ridiculous rumor. It's disappointing that goofing around on set could be taken so out of context." Well, people do tend to jump to conclusions. Number 9. Dominic West and Lily James. The actors were at the height of scandal when they were photographed getting cozy in Rome, all while filming their new series The Pursuit of Love in 2020. The pictures show the stars kissing, sitting at a cafe, standing on the Spanish steps, and riding tandem on a scooter looking very much to be on a date. Although Lily was single at the time, Dominic has been married to Catherine Fitzgerald for 10 years, and they have 4 children together. A source told The Sun that when Catherine saw the pictures, she was devastated and tried to get a hold of her husband, but he wasn't answering his phone. She was reportedly shocked by the whole thing because she didn't realize anything was going on. But only a few days later, there was a photo taken out the front of the couple's home with a note saying, "Our marriage is strong and we're very much still together. Thank you." Since the incident, James has kept quiet and cancelled various interviews to promote her latest film Rebecca, which is probably a good decision considering the fact that both parties have not yet publicly talked about their affair since it occurred. Number 8. Chad Michael Murray and Paris Hilton. In 2003, Chad Michael Murray and Sophia Bush fell in love while filming the TV series One Tree Hill. 2 years later, they were married. However, they separated just 5 months later when rumors swirled that Chad had cheated on his wife with Paris Hilton, his co-star on the film House of Wax. During the time he and Paris both worked on the horror film together, they reportedly had an affair, according to Backstreet Boy Nick Carter, who was dating Paris at the time. But after separating, Chad and Sophia still had to keep working together for another 3 years on One Tree Hill. If that's not awkward, I don't know what is. It wasn't until 2011 that the actor decided to rethink the way in which he was living his whole life. Quote, "When you're young and you're thrown into something that I was definitely not ready for, I'm human and I screw up." But his ex-wife definitely took the whole affair much harder, and it's clear that his actions really affected her in the long term. In 2017, she wrote in Cosmopolitan that the scandal was a massive event in her life and the trauma of it was amplified by how public it became. She has also said that she feels the marriage was a joke and it did nothing but reduce her to a Hollywood statistic. Ouch. Number 7. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Jen and Brad got married in 2000 in a lavish Malibu wedding and things were perfect for the Hollywood it couple until they suddenly announced their divorce in 2005. What happened exactly? Well, long story short is Brad met Angelina for the first time on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and the rest is history. Apparently the movie was filled with so much romantic tension, it was impossible for the two stars not to fall for each other. I mean, Mr. and Mrs. Smith is probably the sexiest spy movie to ever exist, so it's easy to see how everything went down. But the problem was that Brad was still married to Jen. But he didn't let that stop him, and they allegedly still got together despite his marriage. To add insult to injury, he said about his marriage to Jen, quote, "I was trying to pretend the marriage was something that it wasn't. I'm satisfied with making true choices and finding the woman I love, Angie, and building a family that I love so much." That sounds pretty harsh, but it turned out that Brad and Angelina's relationship wasn't just a fling, and they actually went on to date for many years and had a large family before finally getting married in 2014. The love triangle was one of the biggest celebrity scandals of the early 2000s, and it still dominates the tabloids to this day. Number 6. Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher. The actress and writer Carrie Fisher was never one to hold back when she had something to say, and in 2016 she shared a fascinating piece of history in her own memoir
memoir called The Princess Diarist. According to Carrie, she had a brief but very intense affair with her Star Wars co-star Harrison Ford while they were filming the movie in 1976. But what's really quite troubling is that People magazine reported that she was just 19 years old when the 3-month affair took place, while Harrison was 36 years old and married to his wife of 15 years, Mary Marquardt. To make matters worse, the couple also shared 2 kids together. In terms of sneaking around, Carrie actually said, quote, "It was Han and Leia during the week and Carrie and Harrison during the weekend." She also explained to The Guardian that the affair between them had eventually come down to unreciprocated love. She said that she'll always feel something for him. The Star Wars actress was so young at the time that they got together, and although she must have known it was wrong, it's hard to say that the blame rests completely on her. What's even sadder is that after Carrie died in 2016, Harrison never fully confessed to the affair, probably more out of shame for cheating on his wife. Number 5. Ewan McGregor and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. The co-stars brought their on-screen romance into the real world after working together on the FX series Fargo. The pair appeared on season 3 of the anthology crime drama, which debuted in April of 2017. Only a month later, the actress announced on social media that she had split from her husband of 7 years, Riley Stearns. Following her separation, Winstead was spotted on a date, hooking up with McGregor in London, and cheating rumors were flying because although she was single, he was very much not. The Trainspotting actor was still married to Eve Mavrakis at the time, with whom he shares 4 children. After the Emmy winner was spotted getting cozy with Winstead, fans began to wonder about the status of his marriage, but it wasn't until January of 2018 that his now ex-wife filed for divorce. But while the two managed to keep their romance relatively private, their relationship raised eyebrows even among their family members. In fact, in August of 2018, McGregor's daughter Clara had some strong feelings on the new relationship at the time. She took to Instagram to comment on a Mary Elizabeth Winstead fan page, quote, "Most beautiful and talented woman on earth? Oh man, y'all are delusional. This girl is a piece of trash." Wow. Number 4. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. Although it's been over for decades, Nicole Kidman's marriage to Tom Cruise is still one of Hollywood's most talked about relationships. Cruise met Nicole Kidman on the set of the movie Days of Thunder, and the pair were instantly smitten with one another, and they soon started engaging in a torrid love affair. But at the time of meeting, you guessed it, the Top Gun actor was still married to Mimi Rogers, whom he wed in 1987. As it became clear that the affair was more than just a simple fling, Tom divorced his first wife in February of 1990, and less than 1 year later, he exchanged vows with Nicole in December of 1990. They even adopted 2 children, Isabella Jane and Connor Anthony, and eventually went on to make 2 more movies together as a couple. But as we all know, their marriage was far from perfect, and they ended up splitting a decade later in 2001. Looking back on the divorce, Nicole said, quote, "It took me a very long time to heal. It was a shock to my system. We were in a bubble, just the 2 of us. We became very dependent on one another." Number 3. Billy Crudup and Claire Danes. The massive scandal started in late 2003. Billy and his girlfriend of 8 years, Mary Louise Parker, who at the time was about 7 months pregnant with his son, broke up. The New York Post reported that the actor had moved on with his stage beauty co-star Claire Danes, who was only 24 at the time. In the summer of that year, the former co-stars had been spotted getting cozy all over New York City, and even had a very cute looking courtside date filled with PDA. But Billy wasn't the only cheater in that situation, as Claire also ended up breaking the heart of her longtime boyfriend Ben Lee to be with the actor. Their love affair didn't last long, however, and it's clear that all the heartbreak wasn't even worth it, because they ended up splitting up just 3 years later. Naturally, the ultra-private couple didn't discuss the reason behind their breakup, but the tabloids were happy to do so for them. Several magazines even claimed that Danes had left Billy for Hugh Dancy, but we'll never really know what happened. Years later, Claire said, quote, "I was just in love with him and needed to explore that. I was 24, I didn't quite know what those consequences would be." Number 2. Morena Baccarin and Ben McKenzie. The Homeland actress furiously denied rumors that she had been cheating on her husband at the time, Austin Chick. But when she got pregnant by her Gotham co-star Ben McKenzie, there was very little she could do to cover it up. And just like that, the cheating rumors were confirmed. Although the actress tried to shut down the allegations, according to a TMZ report, the divorce papers filed in 2015 by Austin Austin show that he claimed that he was still sharing a bed with Morena when she conceived Mackenzie's baby. She did get a happy ending though, and eventually gave birth to Mackenzie's daughter Frances in March of 2016, just 2 weeks before her divorce from Austin was finalized, and went on to marry Mackenzie in June the following year. But did she at least feel a little bad for sleeping with her co-star while she was married? Well, not really. In fact, she told People magazine that working with him on Gotham was wonderful. Quote, "Ben's the sweetest. It's very nice to work with your significant other, especially when you're pregnant, because you know you'll get some extra TLC and get taken care of." I mean, yeah, I guess that sounds nice if you can ignore the question of how they met. Number 1. John Malkovich and Michelle Pfeiffer. The legendary actor John Malkovich caused intense scandal both on and off the screen when it came to filming 1998's Dangerous Liaisons with his co-star Michelle Pfeiffer. At the time, the actor had been married to actress Glenn Headley for 6 years, but that completely fell apart in the midst of his affair with Michelle. Interestingly enough, even the film's director, Stephen Frears, said, quote, "Dangerous Liaisons is about betrayal and lies and relationships unraveling. It was one of those times where reality and art intersect. It was overwhelming to John. Even for a man who delights in bad behavior, that was a difficult time." Not to mention the fact that John's older brother, Danny, told Entertainment Weekly in 1993 that when the actor came home with Michelle, that was the happiest that he had ever seen him. But even though John and his ex-wife got divorced in 1988, the affair didn't last long either, and they reportedly broke up not long after. But apparently Malkovich took the breakup very hard and reportedly cried for a whole year. The two of them must have really had something special, because he told The Guardian in 2008, quote, "It's hard to believe Michelle Pfeiffer ever said hello to me." I mean, if you can forget about the fact that he cheated on his wife, it's still romantic the way he talks about Michelle.
In at number 10, Nick Lachey. Jessica Simpson revealed in her recent memoir that she had an emotional affair with Johnny Knoxville while married to Nick Lachey. In the memoir titled Open Book, she spoke about how she felt the emotional cheating was worse than physical, writing, quote, "To me, an emotional affair was worse than a physical one." She added that since she waited till marriage to do the deed, she finally realized that the emotional part mattered much more than the physical, and apparently Johnny and her had a much stronger emotional connection than her and Nick, stating that it was more of a betrayal to have that connection than to sleep with him. And at number 9, Dennis Quaid. Meg Ryan has admitted to dating Russell Crowe while she was married to Dennis Quaid, but says that they were both unfaithful in the marriage. In 2000, Meg Ryan and Russell Crowe starred in the movie Proof of Life. Then photos of the pair getting close on set emerged, and cheating rumors started swirling. Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid ended up divorcing, and Meg Ryan started officially dating Russell Crowe, although that relationship didn't last long and they split shortly after. Following the scandal, Meg Ryan told InStyle, quote, "What wasn't in the story was the reality of my marriage for 9 years. Dennis was not faithful to me for a long time, and that was very painful. I found out more about that once I was divorced." The drama with the love triangle ended up derailing Meg's career, as the public couldn't just see her as the girl next door anymore. And at number 8, Khloe Kardashian. Khloe Kardashian was actually on the last part of this list because sadly she's been cheated on a lot. During her marriage to Lamar Odom, the pair looked like a picture-perfect fairy tale, and Lamar treated Khloe like a queen on their TV show. But later it was exposed that Lamar had cheated on Khloe hundreds of times over their marriage. Lamar said that after he got with Khloe, hundreds of women came out of the woodwork and wanted to sleep with him, and he gave in to temptation. But he said that his one regret is cheating on Khloe. Quote, "If there's one thing I regret when I was married, it was having multiple affairs with different women. That wasn't the stand-up thing to do. I wish I could have kept it in my pants." The pair finalized their divorce in 2016, and the Kardashians supported him after his life-threatening OD. And at number 7, Ali Laundrie. While Mario Lopez was engaged to Ali Laundrie, he cheated on her, and their marriage ended only weeks after it began. The couple met in 1998 and dated for 6 years before getting married in 2004. But 2 weeks after the marriage, the pair got an annulment, and it was rumored that Lopez had cheated. Neither spoke about it for years until Lopez admitted that he did cheat on Laundrie, well at his bachelor party days before the wedding. He told Howard Stern, quote, "I figured at that point it was easier to ask for forgiveness. It's my bachelor party. We were going to have a good time. I was wrong for obviously lying, and I shouldn't have been in that position." He later admitted that he messed around with several women that weekend. The pair split and are now in other happy relationships. And at number 6, Nick Kokas. While Catherine McPhee was married to Nick Kokas, she was caught kissing her married Smash director, Michael Morris. So obviously that's incredibly messy. The pair ended up splitting because of the cheating, but in the end, Catherine says she doesn't have any regrets about the situation. She told Ocean Drive magazine, quote, "I got married really young and then divorced, and in the last couple of years, I felt like, wow, this is what I should have been doing when I was 20 instead of planning a wedding." She added that she learned deeply from her choices and she is happy to have strong influences in her life who will force her to look at her failures. Catherine is now married to David Foster and they have a child together. And at number 5, Jamie Bergman. Bones actor David Boreanaz was exposed for cheating in the worst way possible. He actually had to come forward and admit to cheating because he was being extorted by the woman he had the affair with. Apparently multiple infidelities took place in the marriage, and at a certain point he had to own up to it. He told people, quote, "I just want to be open and honest, I was irresponsible. I was associated with a woman who I was involved with and had a relationship with. She asked for money, I felt as though I was being blackmailed or there was some sort of extortion." After he admitted to the cheating, the pair did not split up and worked to try and get their marriage back on track. The pair are still together to this day. And at number 4, Brittany Cartwright. If you guys watch Vanderpump Rules, then you know about this disastrous cheating scandal. While Brittany and Jax were dating, cheating rumors plagued the couple. It didn't help that Jax was a proven cheater at that point already. The cheating was officially confirmed in season 6 of the show, when Jax admitted to hooking up with one of their colleagues, Faith Stowers. Brittany wasn't sure whether to stay with Jax at that point, but she told Us in 2018, quote, "I see him every single day making efforts and he's completely changed the way he treats me, the way he talks to me, the way he listens to me. Every single thing about our relationship is better." The pair later got married in 2019 and are still together. And at number 3, Cardi B. Cardi B and Offset are another celebrity couple that is constantly attracting cheating rumors. The worst was in 2017 when Offset was caught in bed with another woman in a video that went viral online. Cardi responded by saying this kind of thing happens to everyone and that she had no intention of leaving him. Then in 2018 the pair officially got married and then welcomed their first daughter, Culture. But their rocky relationship did not stop there. After more rumors of cheating, the pair split only a year after they got married. Cardi even filed for a divorce. The woman that Offset was hooking up with at that time even apologized for her part in the mess. But eventually they got back together and just welcomed a second child together. And at number 2, Hillary Clinton. This was the scandal that rocked the political world and made everyone think differently of Bill Clinton. While Bill was in office, it was exposed that he had an affair with his White House intern Monica Lewinsky, who was 22 years old at the time. His political opponents took this opportunity and tried to get Bill to lie under oath so he would be impeached, and their scheme worked. When speaking about it at a televised conference, he famously said, quote, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman." But this lie then caused him to get charged with perjury and obstruction of justice. Bill was impeached due to this debacle and removed as president. Even though Hillary was the laughingstock at the time, she stood by Bill. Hillary said, quote, "It was really hard, it was painful, and I was so supported by my friends just rallied around." And finally, number 1, Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen divorced his wife Larsa Pippen in 2016 after 19 years of marriage because of allegations that she cheated. Apparently multiple sources confirmed that she was hooking up with the rapper Future. One insider said at the time, quote, "He found out about Larsa and Future and couldn't handle it, although after briefly splitting, they actually got back together 4 months later." But then 2 years after that, Larsa was the one that filed for divorce again. I guess the pair weren't able to work it out and realized that they were better apart.
Starting off our list, number 10 is Jude Law. His affair was one of the biggest ones in Hollywood history because of how heavily documented it was. Honestly, it was all the media was talking about at one point in time. He got engaged to Sienna Miller back in 2004, and they honestly seemed like a match made in heaven. But it wasn't long before a cheating scandal surfaced in 2006 and revealed that Jude had been cheating with their nanny. It was the nanny, Daisy Wright, who came out and shared the details of their little entanglement. Jude did not deny it to the press. He actually came clean about the affair and released a public apology to Sienna, saying that he is ashamed and deeply regrets it. Sienna broke off the relationship immediately, but then they tried to rekindle it. It wasn't actually until 2011 that they officially called it quits. Bless her heart for trying to still make it right after that. In spot number 9, we have Ben Affleck. Now, this one is still up for debate and it always has been, so it will just depend on whose side of the story you actually believe. I will leave that up to you. The actor was once married to Jennifer Garner, and rumors started spreading rapidly that he had cheated on her with their nanny, Christine. Sources claim that they spotted him with the nanny after his split with Jennifer, and that it was revealed that they had been having inappropriate meetings things while they were actually together. At the time, Ben refused to comment on the claims, but his rep did. His rep called the allegations complete garbage. As for the nanny, she was legally not allowed to speak on her relationship with Ben and Jennifer, but neither of them continued to use her as a nanny even after they went their separate ways. Cruising into number 8 is Gavin Rossdale. It was an unhappy ending for his marriage with Gwen Stefani. The two of them were married for 13 years before it ended because of adultery. Turns out Gavin was cheating on Gwen right under her nose for 3 years with the family's long-term nanny, Mindy Mann. She was their nanny for a very long time and took care of their 3 sons. Gwen actually uncovered the affair was happening through explicit texts between the two of them, including nude photos of Mindy and plans to meet up for a hookup. She didn't actually find the messages by snooping through his phone. Another nanny discovered them through the family iPad, which was linked to Gavin's phone, and then she told Gwen. Mindy was immediately fired, obviously, and even though Gavin initially said it was all just flirting and that an affair never actually happened, it wasn't until months later that he fully admitted it, and Gwen ended the marriage. Rightfully so. Up next, number 7, we have Arnold Schwarzenegger. Another nanny cheating scandal affair that flooded media outlets and was very heavily documented because the story was so shocking. It's still shocking. The world was in complete shock when finding out that he had a secret son no one knew about for 20 years. He was married to Maria Shriver at the time of the affair and had 4 children together. He had an affair in 1996 with their nanny, Mildred Baena. It allegedly happened while the family was on vacation, and then he stayed behind to shoot a movie. Once Mildred got pregnant and had her son, Arnold thought it belonged to her husband until he got older and realized that the son started to look a lot like he did. Once he confirmed that he was the father, he began to financially support him, and once Maria found out, she ended the marriage. Arnold says that he has spent a lot of time with his son Joseph over the years and that they have been getting closer, even working out together. Coming up next at number 6 is Stephen Belafonte. This one is a lot to unravel. I was actually reading through all the articles on this, and my god, it was the messiest divorce like in history. No joke. Stephen and his ex-wife Mel B, the former Spice Girl, hired a nanny named Lorraine Gills who was in her 20s throughout their working relationship. But Mel B started to claim that Stephen was having an affair with Lorraine, and that is when things just got very messy. Stephen and Lorraine then came forward and said that the 3 of them were in a sexual relationship together and that no affair was ever going on. But then Mel went as far as claiming that her husband actually got Lorraine pregnant during the affair and then paid her $240,000 to have an abortion. They were all in this massive legal battle for years, and Lorraine actually sued Mel B for defamation based on these claims. Mel ended up having to pay her $1.8 million, and Stephen and Lorraine still remain friends to this day. That is a messy situation. Halfway through our list at number 5 is Ethan Hawke. Back in 2003, reports revealed that Ethan and Uma Thurman were ending their marriage and that their nanny, Ryan Shot Hughes, was the reason for it. At the time, Ethan heavily denied it, but then he went on to date Ryan and then later marry her in 2008. And yes, they are still together to this day, so I will save you the time from going and Googling it. This might be the one time that they actually went on to be with the nanny forever. But Ethan has always stuck to his guns, saying that they did not fall in love with each other until after he ended things with Uma Thurman. He defended himself and said, "I know a lot of people imagine some kind of Sound of Music type love affair, but the truth is, by the time Ryan and I were falling in love, it had been a long while since I had employed her." I don't buy it. But hey, maybe you do. Who really knows the truth? Let me know in the comments if you believe it or not. Rolling into spot number 4, we have The Dream. 2010 was a crazy year for him and his wife, Christina Milan. He filed for divorce in February, which came as a total shock to Christina, as she was just 9 days away from giving birth to their daughter. What a gentleman. She asked the court to throw out the divorce papers, though, claiming that he was lying about the status of their relationship and also said that he had cheated on her. Turns out she wasn't wrong about the whole cheating claims. Photos leaked and showed The Dream cheating on her with his own personal assistant, Melissa Marie. Images showed them frolicking and just getting real touchy with each other in the Caribbean. When Christina was asked about the cheating scandal, she said, "I didn't know anything, but looking back, my gut was telling me something was off, but I thought I could fix it." Good news is she went on to be a great mother and said motherhood has made her feel sexier than she ever has before. You go, girl. Coming in hot at number 3, we have Mick Jagger. This one has been a big debate ever since the news broke because the cheating allegations came straight from the nanny. Some people believed her story while others just thought that she had different motives. So let me know what you guys think. Back in 2002, nanny Claire Houseman alleged she had a sexual relationship with Mick Jagger. She spoke with the Daily Mirror at the time and went into details about the time that they hooked up, claiming that it happened in the kitchen, which was just 30 feet away from the bedroom that he stayed in with his wife, Jerry Hall. She even went as far as saying that she had Mick in the morning and then he had his afternoon delight in the afternoon with his wife on the same day. Not a good look for Mick, obviously, that's for sure, and not her either. But Claire was firm on the fact that she had no regrets to this hookup, but admitted that she did feel bad for Jerry at the time. How kind of you to feel bad for me, even though you're banging my husband. Thanks so much. Rolling into the number 2 spot, we have Jon Gosselin. You would probably know him better as John from John and Kate Plus 8, the family with 8 children who got their own reality show and won the hearts of millions of people. It was a fun show. It was kind of weird. But their family life got complicated back in 2009 when a babysitter named Stephanie Santoro opened up to the tabloids about her alleged affair with John. We aren't talking about him cheating on Kate though. This was at the time that he was with his girlfriend, Haley Glassman. He swore that he never cheated and that he was always very faithful to Haley, but Stephanie begged to differ. She claimed that he cheated on multiple occasions and that it all started when he invited her to his place to hang out in the hot tub one night. Haley and John eventually broke up, and his mom even admitted to the press that he did not see Haley as the person he wanted to spend the rest of his life with. So that kind of added to the cheating rumors. Winning our number 1 spot is Bill Clinton. I mean, there's really no way that this one would cause a ton of controversy. Former President Bill Clinton was caught in a massive sex scandal that led to his impeachment in 1998. He had an affair on his wife Hillary Clinton with a White House intern. He spoke about it all these years later in 2020 when he did an interview for Hillary, the documentary series. He actually took full responsibility in the documentary and said, "Nobody sits down and thinks, I think I'll take a really irresponsible risk. It's bad for my family, bad for my country, bad for the people who work with me." He also went on to explain that the affair was something he used to manage his anxieties, which obviously had people on Twitter just losing their minds. As for Hillary, she did remain by his side through the affair, and even though they are still together to this day, she said it was a very devastating time for her. Alright guys, well that is our nanny cheating list. Oh boy, I am going to get out of here.
The celebrity world can be messy, even for those celebrity couples who seem so innocent. Here are the top 10 celebrity cheating scandals that nobody expected. Starting off strong, we have Adam Levine, who allegedly cheated on his pregnant wife of 8 years, Bahati Prinsloo, with Instagram model Summer Stroh. Summer claimed in a since-deleted TikTok that she had a quote affair with Adam, who currently shares 2 kids with Bahati. That lasted about 1 year. She said in the September video, "At the time I was young, I was naive, and I mean, quite frankly, I feel exploited. I wasn't in the scene like I am now, so I was definitely very easily manipulated." And Summer went on to share a series of screenshots that seemingly showed Adam making some quite bizarre remarks about her body. In one of the images, the Maroon 5 frontman appeared to ask if he could use the model's name for his new baby with Bahati. Some of the texts Adam sent his secret lover include, "Holy effing F, that body of yours is absurd. How are you such an hourglass?" Needless to say, the entire ordeal took the internet by storm, with Adam's alleged texts in particular becoming something of a meme, and more women wound up making similar allegations about the singer's infidelity. And while Adam later denied cheating on Bahati in a statement addressing the scandal, he did admit that he'd quote crossed the line. Next up, we have the YouTuber scandal that's shocked the world. Ned Fulmer from popular YouTube channel The Try Guys. Ned, who got married to Ariel Fulmer in 2012, admitted to engaging in consensual workplace relationships after photos on Reddit appeared to show him kissing a colleague, Alex Herring, in a bar. Ned shares 2 children with Ariel and famously built his whole brand around his love and devotion to his family, becoming one of the internet's most prominent good guys. Family should have always been my priority, but I lost focus and had a consensual workplace relationship, Ned said in a written statement. I'm sorry for any pain that my actions have caused to the guys and to the fans, but most of all to Ariel. The only thing that matters right now is my marriage and my children, and that's where I'm going to focus my attention. The rest of the Try Guys, Keith, Zach, and Eugene, confirmed that Ned was no longer working with them as a result of the scandal. We do not see a path forward together, they shared. We thank you for your support as we navigate this change. Next up, we have Tristan Thompson and Khloe Kardashian. Tristan Thompson made headlines twice for cheating on Khloe Kardashian, whom he began dating in 2016 over the course of their relationship. The Cleveland Cavaliers player was spotted cozying up to two women in April 2018 while Kardashian was pregnant with their daughter True. Later that month, Us Weekly confirmed that Thompson had been unfaithful to the reality star since November 2017 with at least 5 different women. However, Thompson was present for their daughter's birth, which was documented on season 15 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Us Weekly broke the news in May 2018 that the duo were quote, fully back together despite Thompson's infidelity. The Revenge Body host defended her decision to reunite with the NBA star in November 2018. His mistake was obviously humiliating and heartbreaking, but I do believe I am strong enough to endure anything, she tweeted at the time. I choose to find a life lesson in every situation, even the nasty ones. Tristan has grown from this, but most importantly, he's a beautiful father to our sweet baby True. The athlete and Kardashian split for a second time when he was seen kissing Kylie Jenner's then best friend Jordan Woods at a party in 2019. Next up, we have Kristen Stewart, who cheated on Robert Pattinson with one of her directors, Rupert Sanders. I'm deeply sorry for the hurt and embarrassment I've caused to those close to me and everybody this has affected, she said at the time. This momentary indiscretion has jeopardized the most important thing in my life, the person I love and respect the most, Rob. I love him, I'm so sorry. Sanders, for his part, publicly apologized to his then wife, Liberty Ross, and their 2 children, Skyla and Tennyson. I am utterly distraught about the pain I have caused my family, the English director said in a statement. My beautiful wife and heavenly children are all I have in this world. I love them with all my heart. I'm praying that we can get through this together. Both couples called it quits after the news broke. Next up, we have Shakira and Gerard Piqué. Piqué was having an affair with a 22-year-old girl while in a relationship with Shakira. Shakira and Piqué, a professional soccer player, were together from 2011 to 2022 and have 2 kids, though they never officially married. In her first interview about the breakup in September, Shakira told Elle, "Sometimes I just feel like this is all a bad dream and that I'm gonna wake up at some point. But no, it's real." She continued, "And what's also real is the disappointment to see something as sacred and as special as I thought was the relationship I had with my kid's father, and see that turned into something vulgarized and cheapened by the media." But by January 2023, the gloves were off. Shakira broke records when she dropped Music Session 53, which is apparently about Piqué. His new 23-year-old girlfriend, and how Shakira is worth, quote, 2 22-year-olds. Insider's Alan Dawson previously reported. Our next cheating couple is Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner. While the world is currently wrapped up in Bennifer, the other one with Jennifer Lopez, lest we forget that Ben Affleck was once in a soap operatic turn of events caught cheating on Jennifer Garner, the mother of his children and wife of 10 years. He cheated on Jennifer Garner with, guess this, the nanny. The couple divorced in 2018, and after marrying him last year, Jennifer Lopez went on saying that, "Honestly, I would simply walk out if she discovered he'd been unfaithful instead of, quote, flying into a rage." Next up, we have Jude Law and Sienna Miller. The pair were a picture-perfect Hollywood couple. The couple had been engaged for 8 months when Jude Law's kid's nanny nanny, Daisy Wright, claimed that the two had been involved in an affair while he was filming a movie in New Orleans. Law then published an apology to Miller in the British Press Association, saying, "There is no defense for my actions, which I sincerely regret, and I ask that you respect our privacy at this very difficult time." Miller and Law were on and off for the next few years, breaking up for good in 2011. "That was one of the most challenging moments I hope I'll never have to experience again," she told the Daily Beast in 2022. The next celeb may come as a bit of a shock. We have David Letterman. David Letterman had only been married to his wife for 6 months, although they had been together for over 20 years, when he admitted to having multiple affairs with women who worked for him on air, including his longtime assistant Stephanie Burkett. The affair came to light when Stephanie's boyfriend Robert Halderman, a producer at CBS, allegedly tried to extort Letterman for $2 million in exchange for his silence. But David did not take up the offer and instead said this on live television: "This morning I did something I've never done in my life. I had to go downtown and testify before a grand jury." Letterman revealed to the studio audience that he received a package 3 weeks ago containing a threat to reveal those indiscretions. If Letterman did not pay the individual a large sum of money, specified as $2 million, he said that the package contained a letter that said, "I know that you do some terrible, terrible things, and I can prove that you do those terrible things." And sure enough, what was contained in the package was proof that I do terrible, terrible things, he said. Our next celeb couple is Kevin Hart and Eniko Parrish. Kevin Hart's infidelity story is honestly a little similar to Letterman's, as he was also being extorted. After denying any wrongdoing, he took to Instagram in 2017 to apologize to his wife Eniko Parrish and his kids. It was then later revealed that somebody was in possession of an explicit video of Hart and was attempting to receive money from him. Hart and Parrish stayed together, and he spoke about it on a podcast in 2020. Our final celebrity couple involves Arnold Schwarzenegger. When Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver announced their separation in 2011 after 25 years of marriage, it was a shock to everybody. The bigger shock, however, came later when the world found out that Schwarzenegger was the father of a son born in 1997, mothered by the couple's housekeeper at the time. It's always the housekeeper. "Remember, it's not like we had a feud," he explained to People magazine in an interview. "We didn't have a fight." He added, "It's just my F-up. My chapter with Maria will continue on forever," he told People. "Even though it's a different relationship and we are now separated, there's no reason for me to feel anything other than love for Maria."
Starting off our list today in the number 10 spot, we have Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson. On February 19, 2019, news would break and claim that Tristan Thompson had cheated on Khloe Kardashian with her sister Kylie Jenner's best friend Jordyn Woods. If the drama couldn't get any more messier, Jordyn would then, on March 1st, 2019, address all the allegations when she sat down with Jada Pinkett Smith for a tell-all interview on the Red Table Talk show. And in the interview, she would say, "On the way out, he did kiss me. No passion, no nothing on the way out. He just kissed me. It was a kiss on the lip, but no tongue kisses. No making out, nothing." While the couple would later get back together, sadly, it wouldn't be the first time that the basketball star has been caught cheating on the reality TV star, as back in March of 2018, the basketball player was also videotaped kissing another woman just days before his and Khloe's daughter was born. And let's not forget, when Khloe finally gave him a third chance, he would shock the world again after we found out that he cheated on Khloe for a third time in December 2021, after US Weekly confirmed that Maralee Nichols welcomed a baby and the father was indeed Tristan Thompson. But I guess that's what happens when you date a man from Canada, as we aren't always as nice as you would think we are, because the world is lying to you. Number 9, Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber first started dating in 2010, and from the start of their relationship, they were always off and on for around 8 years. years, with their relationship definitely being an interesting roller coaster ride, as one month they would be spotted packing on the PDA or walking hand in hand. The next moment, they would both be shading each other all over social media or in interviews. With many fans trying to figure out why the couple just wasn't getting along, we would all be left feeling pretty shocked after Selena Gomez's best friend Taylor Swift seemingly revealed that Justin Bieber once even cheated on Selena after she liked a super shady post about it on Tumblr. This would all happen after Taylor entered into a pretty public feud with Justin and his manager Scooter Braun. Taylor then went on to like a button on the post that read, "We haven't gotten to communicate our differences. You cheated on her best friend and publicly sided with the man who made a revenge tape against her. Was she supposed to invite you over for tea? F out of here." Hey my little bobas, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you never have to miss out on what we might just cover next. And trust me, you definitely don't want to miss the tea in the next video. Number 8. Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson quickly became couple goals after they started dating in 2009. However, when rumors started to hit the web and claim that the Twilight actress had cheated on her then boyfriend with married Snow White and the Huntsman director Rupert Saunders, the internet would lose its mind and it would force Kristen to come out and issue a public apology for the scandal. In her apology, Kristen would then say, "I'm deeply sorry for the hurt and embarrassment I've caused to those close to me and everyone this has affected. This momentary indiscretion has jeopardized the most important thing in my life, person I love and respect the most, Rob. I love him, I'm so sorry." In the beginning, the couple tried to work things out through the scandal and they stayed together, but after a year they realized they just weren't meant to be together and they decided to move on and call it quits, crushing all of our Twilight fantasies in the process. Number 7. Zayn Malik and Perry Edwards. At one point in life, we were all obsessed with Zayn Malik's and Perry Edwards' relationship. And then we would all be left feeling heartbroken in March of 2015 after rumors started to circulate online claiming that Zayn had cheated on the blonde beauty after he was pictured cozying up to a mystery girl. Zayn first tried to deny all the allegations by heading to his Twitter page to say, "I'm 22 years old. I love a girl named Perry Edwards, and there's lots of jealous F's in this world. I'm sorry for what it looks like." However, in August of 2015, just months after Zayn decided to leave his boy band group One Direction, fans would be devastated after he revealed that he officially called off his engagement to Perry. The Little Mix singer then later alleged that Zayn did in fact cheat on her after she released her song, "Shout Out to My Ex," and shortly after, Zayn would then jump into a relationship with Gigi Hadid, so maybe she was the mystery girl after all. Number 6. Louis Tomlinson and Eleanor Calder. Louis Tomlinson and Eleanor Calder were together for 4 years before they decided to break up in March of 2015, with reports at the time claiming that their breakup happened because the musician just had a hectic work schedule. People magazine would even report an inside source told them they tried really hard to make it work, but it was just impossible. He was always away for 9 months a year and they just grew apart. But apparently, this just wasn't the case. Just after the article was published, Louis would then be spotted kissing another girl in Thailand, and after the picture started to go viral, rumors quickly started to spread online, and in them, people would claim that Louis had cheated on the social media star. Louis would then later confirm that the rumors were true after he released various songs about the incident in his debut solo album, Walls, where he sang about hurting someone he loves, and it didn't take long for fans to prove that that person was in fact Eleanor. Number 5. Niall Horan and Hailee Steinfeld. When rumors first started swirling online claiming that Niall Horan and Hailee Steinfeld were dating back in February of 2018, just after they were spotted getting pretty cozy at a Backstreet Boys concert, when they were finally photographed sharing a kiss in August of 2018, fans of the couple would finally get the confirmation they were waiting for, and the couple was in fact dating. But unfortunately, the two would have to call it quits in December of that year, and after they went their separate ways, it definitely didn't seem like they ended on the best of terms, as later Hailee would even come out seemingly to shade the pop star multiple times on her Instagram stories when she released her song Wrong Direction in January of 2018. 2020. She even went on to allege that her relationship with Niall ended because he cheated on her. When she sang in her song, "Looking back, I probably should have known, but I just wanted to believe that you were out sleeping alone. Love me with your worst intentions, didn't even stop to question. Every time you burn me down, don't know how, for a moment, it felt like heaven. Love me with your worst intentions, painted us a happy ending." Hailey was definitely in her feels, but hey, at least she was able to write a fire song about it. Number 4, Tana Mongeau and Brad Souza. Tana Mongeau and Brad Souza first made things official back in December of 2018, and after they started to post a ton of PDA snaps together. But in April of 2019, Tana revealed that they had split after Tana caught Brad sending another girl some pretty flirty DMs. Tana would then reveal everything that happened in the YouTube video when she said, "A lot of crazy things happened at Coachella, and during it all, I wound up finding out a lot of really effed up stuff. I woke up the next day expecting to have like a private breakup, and I got online to see a bunch of screenshots of girls saying and showing a lot of stuff. Some of it fake, some of it not, going really viral about Brad." In his own words, Brad would also confirm that all the allegations in Tana's videos were true when he said, "What happened in her videos is true. There was a little bit of over-exaggeration to some of it, but what she said was going on is what I've done. I mean, I don't blame her for speaking her mind and her truth and her heat." Brad then went on to claim that he never physically cheated on Tana, but he did admit he was sending inappropriate messages to other girls when he said he was under the influence, and regardless of the situation, when he realized what he did was wrong, he wished he could take it all back because no one ever gave him what Tana was really giving him. Number 3, Noah Cyrus and Lil Xan. Noah Cyrus and Lil Xan made their first red carpet debut as a couple in 2018 at the MTV Video Music Awards in August of 2018, and they would shock their fans after they split just 1 month later. After their breakup didn't exactly end well, with both stars accusing each other of cheating on their social media accounts, Lil Xan first took to his Instagram account to say, "I feel like I'm probably being cheated on. I broke up with her because she was all over another dude." Noah later then came out to shut down all the rumors when she decided to write her own post on what truly happened after she took to her Instagram to say, "The truth is, I haven't seen him in almost a week. Every time we try to hang out, something always got in the way. I then saw a picture of a girl on a court in his story at 2 a.m. When I FaceTimed him later on, I noticed a hickey. He told me it was just a bruise. I decided to give him the benefit of a doubt and ignored it. Cheaters like to accuse their partners of cheating to make themselves feel less guilty," which is the truth. "This isn't the first time this has happened to me, and I'm being forced to deal with some crazy allegations when I'm not even sure where this all came from." The singer then went on to call the rapper by his real name, Diego, when she said, "I've been there for you during your dark times, Diego. When you felt alone, like no one was there for you, I was. If this is your way of breaking up with me and breaking my heart along with it, then you've succeeded." Number 2, Charli D'Amelio and Chase Hudson. When Chase Hudson was accused of cheating on Charli in March of 2020, just 2 months after they were speculated to be dating, Josh Richards' diss track called Still Softish would spark the cheating rumors and accuse Chase of his infidelity. With the two publicly splitting in April of 2020, the relationship rumors would start to make headlines shortly after. Fast forward to July 2020, Charli would then accuse Chase of cheating on her, and in August 2020 on Twitter, when she posted a now deleted tweet saying, "I hope she was worth it." In response, Chase would then take to his own social media in a since deleted post to say, "All of this drama is going on because I kissed Nessa when we were both single." Charli then quoted his tweet with his post with a kiss and added, "Then you shouldn't have come over to my house after without telling me." The entire internet then started to freak out after Chase then posted a since deleted photo from his notes app where he seemingly called out his friends and other influencers for their alleged infidelities. Charli then went on to call the singer out again after she took to her Instagram to say, "Stop deflecting your actions onto others because you can't take responsibility, Chase." On July 8th of 2020, Charli then took to her Instagram live to tell her fans that she and Chase had a very long talk and they just realized that they weren't right for each other. And coming in at number 1 today, we have Dove Cameron and Ryan McCartan. Once upon a time, Dove Cameron and Ryan were the ultimate Disney power couple. And if you're a Disney fan, then you know that the stars' relationship wasn't exactly pretty when their relationship came to an end. When Ryan accused Dove of cheating on him during a Q&A session with his fans, after a fan asked him what his proudest moment was, he would say, "Within 2 weeks, my fiance cheated on me and left me, and I almost passed away from food poisoning. I truly didn't think I would be able to make it through that part of my life. I'm proudest of
of the light that came from the darkness and my ability to survive and turn the anger and sadness I had into positive life changes and a new way forward. Ryan would then later talk about his relationship with Dove, and he would head to his Instagram account to say, "I think Dove and I fundamentally agree about our relationship with one another. We were young and immature, our relationship was dysfunctional, we were a bad match. She has made claims about me and about our past that I don't think are fair or even true, but she is entitled to her opinion." While the actor also claimed that he was also entitled to his own opinion, he then went on to explain that despite their rocky past, the two had no hard feelings between each other now. But talk about a messy breakup, and Disney definitely wasn't happy about this scandal, that's for sure. Well, you know, that's it for this video, my little bobas, and until the next one, don't forget to check out some of our other videos on the channel so you can get caught up to date on all the latest tea.
Number 10. Justin Timberlake and Elisha Wainwright. Justin Timberlake and Elisha Wainwright made headlines when they were spotted holding hands during a night out in New Orleans. The two actors were shooting the movie Palmer, which is a drama about an ex-college football star who returns home after being in prison. The co-stars were photographed together getting cozy at a bar in Louisiana, sitting at a table holding hands and talking to one another. The photos showed Justin, who didn't appear to be wearing his wedding ring, holding hands with the actress under a table and drinking together. At one point, Elisha could be seen resting her hand on the singer's knee, and while he was standing up, putting his arm around her waist. The photos caused a huge scandal because he's been married to Jessica Biel since 2012. Their relationship was really being tested, and Justin had to make a public statement the following month, apologizing for his strong lapse in judgment, and claimed that despite the photos, nothing happened between him and his co-star. Number 9. LeAnn Rimes and Eddie Cibrian. This affair was not exactly unique. In fact, it's a story so common in Hollywood that it borders on cliche. The actors were co-stars who met on the set of a Lifetime movie called Northern Lights. They immediately hit it off and the flirting began. But the kicker was that they were both already married at the time to other people. But hey, in classic Hollywood fashion, they didn't let that stop them, and not long after meeting, they were photographed having dinner together, and the rumor mill did the rest. After extreme press coverage of the affair, both LeAnn and Eddie decided to make it official and separated from their respective spouses to be with each other. They eventually ended up tying the knot in 2011, but the story doesn't entirely end there. A few years later, Eddie was caught cheating on LeAnn at Wendy Williams' 50th birthday party, but she claims she's unfazed by the whole thing and doesn't seem to mind if he flirts with other women. You know what they say, sometimes how you get them is how you lose them too. Number 8. Helena Bonham Carter and Kenneth Branagh. The two are believed to have begun their secret relationship on the set of the film Frankenstein in 1994, which Kenneth played the lead role and Helena played Frankenstein's adopted sister, Elizabeth. At the time, he had been married to Emma Thompson for 8 years, who was adored by fans. The two were even dubbed the golden couple by the British press, and seemingly had the perfect marriage, which is why the affair caused a massive scandal that rocked tabloids across the nation. They split in 1995, and years later, Emma has admitted that her tearful scenes in Love Actually were so persuasive because she had had her heart broken very badly by Kenneth. It was a little awkward because both actresses had to work together in the Harry Potter films, with Helena playing Bellatrix and Emma playing Professor Trelawney. But in 2013, she revealed that the two had made their peace years ago, and that the divorce was all blood under the bridge. But Emma even joked that she and her Harry Potter co-star were both slightly mad and a little bit fashion challenged, and she said, quote, "Perhaps that's why Ken loved us both." Number 7. Abbie Cornish and Ryan Phillippe. The actor first met Reese Witherspoon while starring alongside her in the 1999 movie Cruel Intentions. They actually fell so in love with each other that they ended up getting married that same year. But all good things must come to an end, especially Hollywood romances, and in 2008, Ryan started to get closer to his new co-star, Australian actress Abbie Cornish, while they were filming the movie Stop Loss. The two of them seemed to be so comfortable being seen in public together that they were eventually caught having dinner together in a Texas restaurant, despite the fact that there were some curtains around the table. They were also caught together again just outside of Ryan's apartment. The affair was so in your face, it really wasn't funny. But it wasn't until Reese discovered intimate messages back and forth that were being exchanged between the two of them on his phone. Then it was clear that after 7 years of marriage and 2 children, Reese was ready to call it quits with Ryan, and later went on to marry talent agent Jim Toth, whilst Ryan and Abbie's love affair eventually lost its spark. Number 6. Kerry Russell and Matthew Rhys. The actors played secret KGB agents and love interests on the FX spy drama The Americans. The romance between the two sparked while on set, but there was just one problem. At the time, Kerry was still married to Shane Deary, with whom she had 2 kids. The two leads play like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and so naturally, many believe their steamy scenes were indicative of a real-life romance. At the time though, they both heavily denied it. When talking about their sex scenes, Matthew said, quote, "We've all done a million of them in this crazy life we sign up for." He said that eventually the clinical element of it kicks in, which sort of takes away from that embarrassment. But it's obvious that there was really something going on, as the two of them were shopping for furniture together at Christmas in 2013. Not long after, Kerry parted ways with her now ex-husband. Unlike most cheating scandals though, this one seemed to turn out quite well, as Kerry, Matthew and Shane reportedly go on vacations together and frequently dine out as friends. Not only that, but in 2016, Kerry and Matthew welcomed their first child together and became a blended family. Number 5. Tori Spelling and Dean McDermott. The Beverly Hills 90210 star and her husband, Dean McDermott, have been making headlines since their scandalous start. The two actors met on the set of Lifetime's Mind Over Murder in 2005, only a year after Spelling married her first husband, Charlie Shanahan. Dean was also married at the time for more than a decade to Mary Jo Eustace, with whom he shares a son. Tori and Dean began cheating on their spouses the night they met. In fact, she wrote about the affair in her 2009 memoir, quote, "It was love at first sight. I fell so hard. Then I noticed he had a wedding ring. When someone asked, he pulled out photos of his children, and oh yeah, I had a husband too." Yeah, there's no making that sound better. She went on to say that the couple ended up spending the night together despite the fact that they were both married. And she knew it was meant to be because when she woke up next to Dean the following day, she said she had no regrets. The two married and went on to have 4 children together before yet another cheating scandal rocked their relationship in 2013, this time with Dean and the nanny. Number 4. Kate Hudson and Owen Wilson. The Hollywood stars had a massive cheating scandal while filming the 2006 comedy You, Me and Dupree, most likely because Kate was married to rock musician Chris Robinson for 6 years when she met Owen. The actors had a wild affair that lasted only 6 months, but it was definitely long enough to ruin Kate's relationship with her husband forever. Amid the rumors of infidelity, the Black Crowes singer ended up filing for divorce from Hudson in November 2006, citing irreconcilable differences and seeking joint custody of their then 2-year-old son Ryder. A month after the film opened in July, Kate and Owen were confirmed to be officially dating. But the affair didn't seem to stack up to anything, as the couple's relationship was short-lived, and they broke up less than a year later. As the public started to turn against the actress, she countered the speculation by telling Harper's Bazaar that's not what happened. But looking back at the 2006 press tour, it was pretty obvious that something was happening between them, because it got kind of inappropriate. Owen asked her about wearing a bikini in the film and whether she and her husband have ever had a third wheel experience. Number 3. Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall. Many Hollywood romances have started on screen and bled into the real lives of the actors involved. The most iconic has to be that of Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall. The two engaged in a scandalous affair after meeting on the set of To Have and Have Not back in 1944. Bacall was only 19 when she first met Bogart, who was already an acclaimed Hollywood star and 25 years older than her. But that wasn't the only issue. At the time, Bogart was married to actress Mayo Methot, but their relationship was reportedly falling apart. Bacall confessed in her 1978 memoir that there was no clap of thunder or lightning bolt moment when she first laid eyes on him in 1943, but the actors became close on the set when she was nervous about the production and turned to her co-star for support. Just 3 weeks into filming, the pair shared their first kiss in her dressing room after a day of filming, and he asked her for her phone number, which she famously scribbled on the back of a matchbook. After that, they began meeting in secret places and using their on-screen names to disguise their identities. Bogart eventually divorced his wife in 1945 and married Bacall just 11 days later. Number 2. Sienna Miller and Daniel Craig. Scandal erupted in 2005 when Sienna Miller's confession of love to Daniel Craig was publicly broadcast to the world, while she was still married to Jude Law. The two were co-stars in the 2004 film Layer Cake with Sienna, and at some point the two got a little bit closer than they did on screen. But how did the news of the affair get out? Well, that's the tricky part. A journalist hacked Daniel's voicemail, retrieving a message that came from Sienna's phone number. Both parties tried to discredit the audio tape at first, but when the hearing took place for the hacking trial, it was proven to be authentic. Sienna tried to play it off and told the court that she always ended phone calls saying "I love you,"
Crew, insisting it wasn't some huge declaration of love. She denied that the message meant she was in a relationship with Daniel, but she did admit to the court that they were briefly involved. Jude reportedly learned of his wife's affair from the newspaper story and called Daniel to confront him because the two used to be close friends. Talk about messy. And coming in at number 1, Meg Ryan and Russell Crowe. In the 90s, Meg Ryan had a squeaky clean image thanks to her role as the leading lady in many rom-coms like When Harry Met Sally and Sleepless in Seattle. But her reputation took a huge hit when it emerged that she cheated on her then husband, Dennis Quaid, with her co-star Russell Crowe. Meg and Dennis had been married for 9 years and already shared a son together when she met Russell on the set of the 2000 thriller Proof of Life, and the pair had instant chemistry. But the affair reportedly caused awkwardness amongst the cast and crew, as the actress didn't even appear on the press tour because she was so worried that they would be asking her about it. In fact, the film's director Taylor Hackford blamed the cheating scandal for the film being a flop at the box office. Meg was publicly shamed, especially after she and Dennis officially announced their separation, because it allegedly put too much strain on their marriage. When she began dating her co-star, it really changed the public's perception of her as the quirky rom-com lead. In fact, she told The Guardian in 2003, quote, "I was all over the tabloids and I walked through the lobby and the place stopped. People stopped talking and stared at me." Goes to show you how sensational the affair was at the time.
Starting off our list at number 10 is Ashton Kutcher. Don't freak out, the actor didn't cheat on his wife and mother of his children, Mila Kunis. He actually cheated on his wife that came before her, Demi Moore. The actress was 16 years older than Ashton and had 3 teenage girls when they first got together. When they got married, he was only 25 years old. The age difference had rumors flying that there was trouble in paradise when it came to their marriage. The majority of rumors were that Ashton was cheating on Demi with multiple different women. The rumors may not have stuck, but one alleged hookup sure did when there was proof. Paparazzi captured pictures of Ashton leaving his hotel, the Roosevelt, with Sarah Leal in the car with him. After the picture surfaced, Sarah came forward with the truth, saying that they hooked up in a hot tub in September 2011 on his 6-year anniversary with Moore. During an interview with The Sun, she stated, and I quote, "We had sex twice, everything felt natural, we were having a good time, one thing led to another. He was good, it wasn't weird or perverted or creepy. I was attracted to him and he was attracted to me." She also went on to say that Ashton told her he was separated from Demi at the time when they hooked up. Needless to say, Ashton and Demi officially divorced not long after the truth came out. At number 9 is LeAnn Rimes. She's known for a bit of everything, acting, singing, and she's even recognized now as an author. She is a triple threat. However, one thing she isn't very good at is being faithful to her husband. Her cheating scandal caused a lot of controversy when photos of her kissing her co-star Eddie Cibrian at a romantic dinner together. Turns out Eddie was married too. The scandal made headlines back in 2009 when the footage was leaked from a restaurant security camera. The photo snapshots show the two actors holding hands, kissing, and cuddling up next to each other. Rimes was married to Dean Shermitt since 2002, and Eddie was married to Brandi Glanville since 2001 and even had 2 kids with her. Once both of their spouses were made aware of the cheating, they both pulled the plug on their marriage. LeAnn and Eddie eventually married each other in 2011. How romantic. Taking over the number 8 spot is Balthazar Getty. Most people remember this scandal because the picture went viral of the famous topless holiday cheating scandal. Back in 2008, the actor's career was in its prime when he starred in Brothers and Sisters. Not only was his career going well, but so was his marriage. He had a long-term marriage with his wife Rosetta Getty, and the two of them even had 4 children together. That was quickly ruined when he was caught having an affair with Sienna Miller. They were caught together in Italy on a vacation when topless photos of Sienna made headlines. Getty and his wife separated for 2 years after the incident, but decided to work things out. The actor and his wife opened up during an interview with People magazine and said that it actually made their marriage stronger. As for Sienna, she later dated Jude Law, who ended up cheating on her with their nanny. Karma? At number 7, we have Katharine McPhee. Her career first started in the music industry when she came in 2nd place during her season on American Idol. She later transitioned into the acting world when she landed a starring role on the television series Smash in 2012. During her time on the show, paparazzi managed to get some photos of Katharine and the director of the series, Michael Morris, kissing, which definitely wasn't part of her job description. Both of them were guilty because they were both married at the time. Michael was married to the mother of his 3 children, and Katharine had been married to a man named Nick Kokos for 5 years at that point. Her husband ended up filing for divorce, and the paperwork was finalized in 2014. Swiping the number 6 spot is Ryan Phillippe. For a long time, the actor was married to Reese Witherspoon and they were one of Hollywood's most admired couples. They got married in 1999 and were together until 2006, where they had 2 kids together, a daughter and a son. The couple always came across as having the perfect relationship, which is why people were stunned when Ryan was photographed kissing another woman while he was still married to Reese. Photos made headlines of Ryan and the Australian beauty Abby Cornish having a public makeout session. In 2007, Ryan and Reese divorced as a result of the cheating scandal, and eventually Ryan spoke openly on his romance with his mistress. The two of them continued to be in a relationship together until 2010. Halfway through the list, at number 5 is Elizabeth Taylor. The actress was part of a huge Hollywood scandal all the way back in 1962. It was one of the most scandalous and iconic headlines made during the time. Paparazzi caught Elizabeth spending some romantic time with Richard Burtman on a private yacht. The first photo appeared in June of 1962, and people were shocked seeing as both of them had been married at the time. Elizabeth was married to her 4th husband at the time, Eddie Fisher, and Richard was married to his first wife, Sibel Williams. Once the pictures were out, the two of them left their marriages to be together. They became an iconic couple in Hollywood and got married only 1 year after the scandal on March 15, 1964. Their love story was legendary, but for all the wrong reasons. Here we are at number 4 with Hugh Grant. Even with photographic evidence, some actors are able to weasel their way out of the wrongdoings. But Hugh's photographs are not the typical kissing photo like anyone else on this list. Not only was he publicly outed for cheating on his girlfriend in 1995, he was also arrested because he had solicited an escort. His cheating scandal pictures, his mugshot, and hers. There is no way you're possibly talking yourself out of this one. Back then, Hugh Grant and his girlfriend Elizabeth Hurley were one of Hollywood's power couples, or so everyone thought. During the scandal, fans were shocked that Elizabeth actually stood by her man's side. It didn't last very long though, the damage had already been done and they split not too long after. Taking the number 3 spot is Kristen Stewart. Her scandal broke the hearts of many Twilight fans. She began dating her co-star and movie boyfriend Robert Pattinson while filming the Twilight series of movies. Fans were obsessed with their love story since they got to see it in the movies and also in real life. She ruined their love story when she was caught cheating with her Snow White and the Huntsman director Rupert Sanders. The paparazzi leaked the photos in 2012, which showed the two of them making out in a car and snuggling up together on a deserted hike. Not only was Kristen in a relationship, but so was Rupert. He was married to Liberty Ross and also had kids with her. Robert, Liberty, and fans were all heartbroken by the shocking scandal. Kristen issued a statement saying, "I'm deeply sorry for the hurt and embarrassment I've caused to those close to me and everyone this has affected. This momentary indiscretion has jeopardized the most important thing in my life, the person I love and respect the most, Rob." The two of them split not long after, and Rupert's wife filed for divorce the following year. Alright guys, at number 2 we have Marlon Wayans, the actor who made big waves in the acting industry when he starred in White Chicks back in 2004, one of my favorite movies to this day. However, I am not too pleased with the actor after learning about his cheating scandal. The scandal happened in 2012 when he had been dating his girlfriend and mother of his 2 children, Angelica Zachary, for 12 years. Pictures made headlines that showed Marlon kissing and caressing a mystery brunette on a private yacht in St. Barths. Some people were shocked while others stated that he's always had some commitment issues. During an interview with Wendy Williams before the scandal took place, he revealed that he and Angelica don't even live together, even though they have kids together. When asked why, he said, "I like to keep it fresh. When you live together, that's when the sweatpants and the cream on the face comes out and it kind of says you're not going to get some." How did he possibly explain this to his kids? He later admitted that once his kids found out about the cheating, they physically lashed out at him. Angelica decided to stick it out with him, but they ended up getting a divorce in 2013. Taking the number 1 spot is Kevin Hart. This one cut deep for me because he is one of my favorite comedians, so it's hard not losing any respect for him. Not only was Kevin married at the time of his cheating scandal, but his wife was actually pregnant. He was on a trip in Las Vegas when camera footage broke the internet showing the actor getting up close and personal with an exotic dancer. The footage was taken from a Vegas nightclub surveillance video. Once the footage was out there, Kevin came forward in a shocking Instagram video where he confessed his affair to his millions of followers to try and stop the mistress from trying to get money from him in exchange for her silence. At the time all of this was going on, his second wife was in her 3rd trimester of pregnancy. Turns out his wife was actually the mistress that broke up Kevin's first marriage, so their story is kind of a mess altogether. Kevin continued to publicly own up to his actions and apologize for his mistakes, which his wife actually forgave him for.